miss the family I used to have. I feel like everything's so different now. Sitting by the fire as we'd watch the flames burn out. I miss the days I wasn't afraid. Now I always have my guard up. Hands on my face, I learned to cope with the pain. I know that people think I'm trying to get attention, but in reality I'm trying to send a message. I know there's kids out there that are going through the same thing, and if you're one of them, I hope to help your suffering. Just know it will get better, and these feelings do not stay the same. No, they don't stay the same. I don't wanna make you feel bad, but you kinda ruined my life. You hurt me and ruined my life, and I don't wanna make you feel bad, but you kinda ruined my life. You hurt me and ruined my I lost a couple friends on my way up. I took a couple L's, but that's just normal talk. I popped a couple pills, but they don't do much. And now I take Prozac in the morning with some other stuff. But why did I get into this? I feel like this is all a dream. But when I wake up, look around, this isn't even make-believe. So I sit in the corner thinking back to all the memories. I grew up with these fake beliefs, by the time I find a remedy. I don't wanna make you feel bad, but you kinda ruined my life. You hurt me and ruined my life, and I don't wanna make you feel bad, but you kinda ruined my life. You hurt me and ruined my
Oh.
What's up, everybody? So, we have some juicy topics that we need to talk about today. Gypsy Rose being out of jail, and she's been on a lot of podcasts, different TV shows, morning shows. So, we have Nick Viall's Viall Files Podcast, where she was on, and I think it was the best one out of all of the ones that I've seen. I don't know about you, Megz. You're muted, by the way.
I know. I just don't want you to hear me cough. This is gross.
Oh, please.
You're echoing, baby. You're echoing. Echo.
I'm echoing.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see. Hey, you know what? I probably should put it in my earbuds, to be honest.
That's what I have on.
I notice it when I'm on Roadhog's panel, and I've tried to fix it a couple times, and it doesn't work. But when I have my earbuds in, it's fine. So let me do that. Turn my Bluetooth off my phone. By the way, Twilight is on. Bravo for anyone that's into movies.
I've watched it
I've been
so many
watching it all day.
times.
We're only on the second one.
So many times.
Oh, me too. It's just a little love story.
I am
All
16
right, I got one in.
on the inside.
I can't believe that palette sold out within like minutes. That was insane.
She's beautiful.
Hey, I like sparkling vampires, okay? As I said, my cat got the name Bella for a reason.
Well, I don't have any Bellas
She
around
just
here.
lost at a game of beer pong. All right, my headphones are in. It says 10%. I'll put in the other earbud too.
My hair naturally did this. I just brushed it out, just say floop.
That
Flip
should be
how it wanted
better.
to.
The only issue, there we go, 100%.
Used by my ex-husband for 13 years. He finally did that before. Oh no, you should have thrown a lamp at him on your way out.
Everything's all set. Do I sound better?
Echo. Yeah, there's no
Hey,
echo.
TikTok. All right. It's after Twilight. See, there you go. See, but this headphone sucks. I'll let that charge for a minute, and then I'll use that headphone. This one, if I move my head, it like is the big on my, which I don't have Bixby on my laptop, so I don't even know what it's doing.
I don't know what's going on here.
But whatever. We'll work with it. But anyways, so yes, Gypsy Rose was on Nick Viall's podcast, and if you're not a fan of Nick Viall, he was on The Bachelor, and I enjoy his podcast because, well, he has a lot of Vanderpump Rules people on there, and he asks all the questions I would want to answer. So I enjoy it. I think it's better than most of their reviews that she did do.
There was some repetitive questions, but I liked how most of them wasn't all about what she went through. Does that make sense? Like, they asked her more like human being like questions instead of just like, oh, so how do you feel about, the we know the story, right? So it wasn't
exactly.
all the whole
and if you
time.
don't know the story, yes. I like that he had Ryan on there too. I think that was good to have too.
I don't know, Ryan.
A new mic today. So like I was like, let's see how the laptop cam does today, because I've never actually used this laptop cam up. This is a new laptop. But, so this is I did it in parts because and all that bullshit.
The interview.
Can you guys hear that?
Funky.
We'll make sure we can hear that. My internet's acting funky and I'm the extender. I decided to stay in the bedroom. I was like, why not? And am I on the extender? I am on the extender. I should be doing this. I have like one bar, but let me know.
Right now?
Yeah, she has a skirt on.
It kind of.
Can you hear that? I just want to make sure before we get started. Yes.
I can't tell.
Perfect.
Let me see.
Let me put the overlay on it because fucking field day. Even with commentary videos, you got to transform the video. There you go. I transformed it. Got my Megz up there with bubble. Works.
Bye-bye.
Especially Nick Viall, dude. Office, one of their podcasts, and I even talked in between every 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and they copyrighted that for like a minute. And I was like, really? We're getting like this bad? But, alright, I'm gonna wind it, even though it was like 12.
Right.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Sounds good.
No, I think I've been through so many interviews right
Does it
now.
feel like second nature now? At this point?
Kinda. Yeah.
It's all been pretty much the same.
Good Morning America was actually the hardest.
Really?
Yeah, there was a lot of difficult questions in that, and we just came from The View, and I was like, oh my god, I hope these are not mean to me. They were all very, very nice.
How can you mean to you?
I don't know. I mean, I had some international interviews the questions was like, "How do you feel now that you're getting all this attention? You know, but you know, you're a murderer."
Oh,
So she just flat out said it's LA in the UK, and I'm kind of like, okay,
Oh.
and everybody in the room just like jumped up. Am I okay?
Yeah.
They were freaking out for me, and I'm like, no, no, guys, I got this. Like, it's something that I'm gonna have to address.
Yeah.
Because it's always in my comments. Like, why are we glorifying murder and this and the other? And you know, I don't want to have not the one that committed the act of the kill. So, you know, I'm a part of it.
Right.
But in the state of Missouri, there's no such thing as accessory to murder. So
Which I kind of find it odd that people do call murder because of her state and all of that, but she was an accessory to the crime. And that's what she's trying to say here, is that they could, in her state, she could be charged with accessory to the crime. Though that she was. She didn't actually kill. Let's be real.
She
I don't think, as
She-
she says it too, she says that she wouldn't have been able to do it either if she was the one to have to do it.
like
Did.
it didn't take much to manipulate Nick though at the same time. He had some mental stuff going on that I think
That's
he
true.
needed to talk to someone.
That's
with.
true.
And everybody's like, why don't they free Nick? Hello. He's not only autistic,
No.
but he's crazy. So I was like,
I think she was a victim too, though. Like, she was a victim for all those years from what her mother put her through. And whether it was her only way, I would have worked any other way in that sense. Like, no one could have stopped her mother, and she was changing her age to make her younger. Like, there were just different things that I don't know. I feel for her. That could have only been the only option out at that point. But I don't think she deserves to have been asked.
I'm sorry, I have a stink bug that like flies around in my house. Stink bugs. Some over here looking crazy.
Mom hates them. I'm like, I am so
hate
glad
them.
I don't have to deal with those things. I think she got a fair sentence too. That's exactly, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, he had multiple personality disorder. Yes.
what drives me up the wall is that
You can talk, Megz.
what drives what was my thought? Hold on, I lost my thought. Hold on, mom brain activated.
No
What
problem.
What drives me off the wall is people that haven't followed the story for years like I have, or like, you know, actual people that do true crime have a lot to say. Like, they're not digging in and looking at the story and stuff like that. They're more so like just putting the blame on her. Oh, why does she get to be free and not this other person? Well, she had to figure a way out. Look,
Yeah.
I love my mama, but if she ever did that to me, I'm fighting her on my way out, you know, because I got to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
The logical thinkers in the world, and I'm not saying that I'm glorifying this girl or anything like that, by no means. But what I'm saying is logical thinkers that's never been in that situation is saying, well, she had every opportunity to do this. But you got to think about it. Her mom told everybody she had the mindset of a 7-year-old. So nobody was going to believe her. Imagine someone telling you, nobody's going to believe you if you go and tell the authorities. Nobody's going to believe you if you call DSS. You know what her mom's going to do? Answer the door and say everything's okay. She's just really sick. So she felt like she had no way out. And I'm not saying that she's innocent, but what I'm saying is these logical thinkers out here that's never been in an abusive relationship don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
Don't know what it's like to try to find a way
yeah.
out. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So
it's terrifying. And she was
she
young.
grew up in it.
And like you said,
it wasn't
at that
like
time
she
too,
was-
they weren't. Let's hear what the parent has to say. And that was at a different time in our society.
Right.
Like now, it's like says something, they're going to investigate.
Imagine growing up in it. You know how you go, for example, you're in a domestic violence relationship, right? And you feel trapped in that. Imagine growing up in it and you feel like you have no way out. You don't know your resources. You don't know the proper help. She went and got attention from like the wrong group of people. You know what I mean? Like, imagine feeling like that growing up in it.
Yeah, exactly.
And every time you run away or try to run away, you get severely punished for it because nobody's going to believe you.
Yeah.
So you're told.
It was definitely. I want to say thank you, Hugettes, for the 5 gifted memberships and the bunny gathering for your super chat. And it says, currently on shift, bouncing out at the local nightclub. Definitely now having a good stream, Jackie. I hope your night is still fun. Maybe you'll get to break up a fight. That's fun. That's always interesting. All right, we're going to keep going with this. Thank you again so much, guys. And I know I can give out memberships.
What I can make is edible.
What was your favorite? What did you cook first? What was the meal you made together?
Okay, so it was sauteed chicken and corn, and here he is telling me, like, pour the milk. It's a half a cup of milk. I pour a cup and a half of milk. And I know, put back in the jug. I'm like, oh, this is horrible. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's like, again, like, way, especially when you're doing it with your, it's a way of being connected and doing things together.
It is. It was great.
That is awesome. I think part of what fascinates about your story is just the fact that for much of your life, you haven't been able to make choices for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother, you weren't able to make choices for yourself. And like I said, prison itself, but even then you're in limits. And now that you're free, I think the world is fascinated by, like, what are you watching? What do you want to eat? Like,
yeah.
To, that you've maybe your whole life have wondered, what is this like? What are things that you have fascinated about trying or experiencing, knowing that much of your life you haven't been able to do that?
It's that I'm 16 years old again because I'm just discovering media. I didn't have much of a social media presence before I got arrested either, so I'm coming into learning about all this kind of stuff. And the first TV show I watched was Obi-Wan Kenobi because I'm a Star Wars fan.
Are you?
So I came to see this.
That was a good series.
So it was like the first thing I watched.
Okay.
I'm definitely trying different food. I'm getting animated freedom. The first 48 hours all at once. And I have to really pace myself.
Did you sleep?
I mean, that's crazy. Like, having to acclimate yourself to society. Like, she went in there, and I'm pretty sure, but it wasn't like it is today. I mean, I have some TikToks for you guys, too, and I just don't think it's a big jump to go from even just having a MySpace back in the day to YouTube, Instagram, Kick, every goddamn platform there is, and then some, everyone wanting to see every part of her life. Like, keep forgetting when the cam back on. But I couldn't. Big jump. And what does she have? She has let me see. Let me see how many TikTok followers she has. She has a lot. I know that.
She has over 7 million now.
One
I
day
think
it was 7 million?
Mm-hmm.
6
I'm telling
million.
you, I've been on it.
Damn.
I have been on it. I've been on top of it. Last time I checked, it was 7
That's
million.
Oh my gosh. Right now, and I can show everybody in a second.
Your Wi-Fi is like driving
Oh,
me
but
insane.
yeah, let me see.
It's disrespectful.
And I can't figure out the memberships. I think she need to eat. Oh
snap.
my God. Yeah, 9.8 million.
Oh, it went up. It was 7 million the other day, I think.
That's crazy.
Oh, I tried the Pat McGrath.
That's how it's a lot. Like people, and then the haters. That's a whole nother subject. I've never actually had to read probably the hate comments and things like that.
They rubbed my toes the wrong way. Like, you don't know the story. You haven't tried to listen to the story. You're just assuming. That's one thing I don't like about social media. A lot of people don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I do it sometimes where I hear something, I prejudge it too. It happens. A big factor, and I have to remind myself there's more to a story, and sometimes you just need to figure it out. Sometimes it's just not important either. I don't care. I get sidetracked. All right, let's continue.
First night out?
I didn't. I actually got released at like 3:30 in the morning. They released me a little bit different than other inmates. The other inmates get out at around 8 a.m. And they were very concerned about my safety because there was also at that time. So
who picked you up?
My husband. Yeah, he picked me up, and then we drove to a hotel that we got locally. So just in case that was the way they released me, he could be there to pick me up at a time, short notice. And then we spent the night. Moments as husband and wife, got to consummate our marriage, which was great.
And clearly it seemed to live up to expectations.
It did.
Okay.
And then after the next morning we had planned a little get together with my family. Got to spend time with my dad and my stepmom and my sister, and just really enjoy some family bonding time.
Yeah. Having sex for the first time with your husband. Was it everything you expected it to be? Were you nervous? So connected, y'all are, you're married,
right?
But you've never got to experience a closeness like most couples. So, how was that the first time?
It was so sweet and sexual abuse. So I was molested when I was 9 by my grandfather. And then in my relationship with Nick, there was some sexual abuse. It was a very toxic relationship. So coming from a place where I never felt safe, it was like being used and abused, one person after another. So with Ryan, he didn't say, "Oh, we have to have the first night." It was like, if you want to, let it happen naturally. Because I was like trying to what happens if he doesn't like the way I look, or I'm nervous about just being naked too, because I have scars on my body, and so in prison it's not like he got to see me before he married me. So they say, you gotta check out Drake, and that didn't happen for us. So I was extremely.
Well, that's society too, but yes, I have seen the Lifetime series. I know Megz has watched everything.
I've been Gypsy Rosing it up over here, trying to refresh. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many videos, so many different opinions, and I'm like, oh my god, this is never gonna end.
Oh yeah,
and she's still doing interviews. It's like, what the hell?
It isn't. The rest of her life, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how she uses her platform, how she proceeds forward with life, how it affects her even when she gets older, has kids, and people are going to be watching. I hate to say it, but it sucks.
And then she's gonna have to be more careful what she says, what she shares, what she, what she does, and it's just like
how she parents. They're gonna judge her parenting.
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean, it's
she's gonna have to be this
and
perfect
I'm thankful that
shell.
she has a therapist. Yes.
I've watched
The original HBO documentary was good, Roddy. I like that one. I've seen
You talking
some
about when she
different
had the short
mystery
hair?
things too. Yes.
Yeah, I watched that one. I watched what was it? Mom Dearest or something like that. The Mom Dearest documentary.
Yes. One too. There's
I've
so
seen it
many.
all.
And then you have the
Well-
act. I mean, I even have those overlays.
I watched the act, and that's what got
Which
me intrigued.
actually have not watched all of the act. I haven't watched all
every
of it.
one of them. Me and my husband was invested in that show.
We
watched it every night
Of course you
until
did.
the end. He's like, I want to know what happens next. What
I
happens
don't blame
next?
you.
And so, he was
Actually,
like
I did
hanging out with
put
me on
in
the
of the
couch watching
Act
it.
ones on. There you go. I
got
have
my
to finish it.
sweatshirts.
I got to season 1.
Look at my pretty boy.
And then I forgot. Oh, there you go.
He's so
Mine is
loving.
leaving me alone.
He farted and
Mine-
it stinks.
Like that. She doesn't like to be coddled. I don't like that she doesn't like to be cuddled. She's not
And
like
this one,
she's a prima donna.
that's Callie, girl. She just laid out, sleep. In my spot. This is my side of the bed. She's asleep. She is knocked out. She ain't having it.
Mine. Oh, we just got. I've had this cat bed for her since like the old apartment, and she laid on it for a little bit, and then like gave up. And now I like put all her catties. I put her blanket on there, and she like has to have one of my bold work shirts and throw it on there for her. She fucking loves it. I was like, it's about fucking time, dude. I paid a lot of money for that fucking bed. Like, better
This
use
is
it.
their
I'm
cat
glad
bed.
you like it.
This is their cat bed. They sleep with us. Or wherever little crack they can get into.
Now that
Yeah,
she has a
Callie
whole
sleeps with
other
the
room
girls.
with a couch. Yeah, there you go. I would sleep with the girls too. You get more room that way. That's what my other cat used to do when my family met. He used to sleep with me. Yeah, see, I have, which is
That's crazy.
both of
That's crazy
the
how
side by
identical
side.
she looks to Gypsy. That's so crazy.
I know. I thought that she looks a lot like Megz Ziegler from Dance Moms too, but it's Maddie when I saw it. Like Maddie has a look like that. It's hard to explain, but I watch a lot of Dance Moms in my lifetime.
Looks
to know.
crazy.
This one is a good one. I forgot. I think it was Heavy that used.
Her name
the
was
name
like
of this
Joey or
one.
something. I don't know what her name is.
Yeah.
She wants to meet
But
Gypsy
they
Rose,
captured
but
a lot
Gypsy's not
of her
interested.
moments.
She's not interested in meeting her, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because
I
she
think they did
portrayed
a
her
good
in the
job,
show.
though. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to meet you.
But see how they did like the nurses? They recaptured all the moments. Kind of a thing. I'm trying to see if I have the other one where they're outside. And it's her and her mom.
But look how pretty
Oops.
Gypsy is now with all her hair and her teeth, and she is so pretty now.
I know. She is. All right, let's continue. Let me take this off the screen.
Nervous, but then like within like 10 minutes, I was like, okay, this is happening. And I felt totally comfortable and totally safe.
That's awesome. I can relate to you. I was also sexually assaulted at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
Know how over your life.
Mm-hmm.
In the documentary, obviously we saw your grandfather have
Zaria.
Mm-hmm.
it was disgusting reaction. You heard that was his reaction. What was your thought?
Well, I came to a place actually before he did that interview. I had came to a place where I was going to, I forgive you. I was going to say that for me, for him, and just be done with it. And then he got interviewed, I heard about his reaction, and I'm like, how could you? Like, not only are you saying that you didn't, but you're saying that I'm the one as a child at 4
years old.
I'm the one who was trying to do
You
things.
don't even know what that is. 4 years
No,
old.
absolutely not. I'm gonna get into graphic details, but it left me with a lot of insecurities, and just I felt like I didn't have a healthy growth of a sexual, upbringing. So now it's kind of like I'm to rebuild that
Totally.
and feel comfortable and safe within my own body.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you talk to anyone on your mom's side?
That's crazy though. 4 years old and he blame it on her. My mind.
He'd be thrown out the
Like,
window.
what if douchebag.
She needs a
Right?
friend like me.
And nothing was ever done.
I mean,
He should be lucky nothing was ever done. That's how I should.
yeah, 'cause that's kind of
You know what I mean?
Like, Grandpa's
That he's
supposed to be the
even
one that protects you.
not behind bars. That is.
Like, creepy old man.
Grandpa protected me. That for damn.
My grandpa didn't play over me. No, he didn't.
But there are creepy old men. That's the sad part. That was under the money sign. Oh, there we go. Member gifting. I want to be able to get
I don't know what's going on with your
for the
internet, but
haters.
it's driving me
You can
crazy.
Is it bad? I'll switch over. Let me switch over to the other end. That helps. All right, let me see.
Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. She yeeted herself. I'm just here. I'm all alone. There's no one here besides me. No, let's not go stalker. Oh, Lord. I'm talking about stalking people.
This should be better.
You're muted,
Should.
ma'am.
Let's hope.
I hear no sound.
Am I muted now? How is that not working?
I hear no sound. Now they made her
Hello?
break it.
Ah! I see it. I see it now.
Can't stalk her.
I see it now.
I can't hear you, ma'am.
It should work. It's not
No.
working?
I see your bubble moving, but I don't hear you.
Okay, 1 second.
Oh, I'm here. Hi. Oh, Lord. I think Jackie broke it. Where'd she go? Joe's, no, you ain't.
There we go.
I
Is
can't
that
hear
better?
you.
What
I
the
don't know if your
hell?
headphones died or your
You know
mic's
what?
off. I don't know what's going on. I think I had her
Alright,
break
hold on.
it.
I'm switching headphones.
Your bubble's just moving.
I'm switching mics. Oh my god.
I can't share the screen on my end. Or can I?
Alright, can you hear me now?
Jackie, I
Oh
can't hear
my
you.
god. What
Hold
the
on. I'm about to
fuck?
message you if you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear Megz. What the hell? I'm gonna turn off my headphones. Let's turn off the headphones. Oh my god, show Bougie the vibes. I'm still here. I'm trying to figure this.
No sound. Are you double muted?
Oh Lord. I know. No.
What the fuck is going on? Nothing. Nada. No bueno. Yeah, you can hear me, but I can't hear you. What's going on? We broke it. We broke it. Sorry, y'all. We broke it. We've been having issues. Oh, now your mic's muted. Unmute. Make sure you're not double muted. That happens too.
Should work now, right?
Nope.
But
It's somewhere you're double muted.
you're double muted. Double
Throw
muted.
me out of the window. Somewhere you're double muted though.
This is fucking stupid.
Software thing. Your internet looks better. That's clear.
That
I don't know
helps.
what that language means, guys.
I don't know. It says that I'm not muted though. That's the problem. Stop.
Oh, I'm back. What's going on? Our internet's not choppy though. Do I need to eat myself?
It says it's working. I don't know. If not, I got my tablet. I got my tabby. I don't know why you guys can't hear me. This is so stupid. So stupid.
Still muted somewhere.
And I left like 100 times. I'm
Are we
gonna
gonna
just
have
go on
to?
my tablet.
What if it's a software thing?
I'm getting on a tablet.
Getting on the tablet. Just scream at me, why don't you? And off caps. Get on the tablet now. Jesus.
Oh my god.
And put this thing out of my misery.
Megz might have me muted. Why? Can you hear me, Shay?
No, I
You
don't
hear
have her
both.
on mute. I don't
Casey can
control
hear me.
the
Casey can
thing.
hear me.
So y'all can hear her, but I can't hear her. Am I deaf?
And I'm thinking I'm doing sign language over
Now.
here. I'm doing sign language to her. I'll still get on the tablet. I just had to turn it on. You hear this thing?
My cats are always around
What
me.
happened?
What if I go
It
out
could
and
be
come back in?
StreamYard is the
I wonder
problem.
if I can hear you then.
Let's try that.
You want me to try it? Yes?
Yeah, do it.
See? Okay. Hold on.
D. And I'll get this. Shh, don't tell her. Yeah, right? Maybe the car likes me better. I'll still get on the tablet regardless. Oh, don't sync. Damn it. Now it's gonna have like 100 notifications go off. No, I don't want the notifications. I just want to be on my main account for when I go to StreamYard. What am I doing? I gotta get the link. Actually, I can just go on from StreamYard. It'd probably be easier with the link. Listen, at least my camera is working better. I know. I could hear her. I could hear her. She couldn't hear me. I don't know what that's all about. Oh, I don't have Instagram? Interesting. Technically, this is my boyfriend's tablet. I got it for him, but you can see who uses it. Okay, drop the link for you. Not a problem. Copy. If it doesn't work, I can use the tablet. I'll put it right here. Use that for the video. We'll make it work. I have my phone too. There we go.
Oh,
And
there you are.
all right.
I'm just retarded.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
we
just
fixed
sorry.
it. No, it's all good. All
I'm
right.
sorry.
All right.
Oh my
Hey,
Lord.
at least it
I
worked.
could hear you on the live, but I couldn't hear you over here. I don't know if it was the internet switching it out or what, but
Maybe.
because I was like,
Hey, as long
I
I
could
had
see
to
your
switch
lips
it
moving.
out. If it works better, that's what matters. That's why I was like, let me just put my camera on. At least then you can read my lips, kind of. All right. Hey, we'll make
Oh
it work.
yeah. Hey,
Technical
you're
difficulties. This is what kind of stream would it be if we didn't have technical difficulties?
when it's me, I
All
always have
right.
technical difficulties. I brought the bad luck with me.
No. We have really bad wind happening too right now. Like it is like hurricane wind outside. So,
Yeah, my house
you
whistled at
know.
me yesterday. I think she wanted my number.
I believe we are around here. We'll figure out what spot we're at.
She was doing that I grew up in.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
watched
and
her
it's
do all
better
these
too
things.
now.
Ooh, it is.
But for me, it was always known. It was part of that freedom to do, things with my life that I've never.
I think we're back a little further.
And it's an acronym for impact of crime on victims.
Okay.
And I took this class. It was a 12.
Ooh.
Time while in prison, and yeah, do you remember that moment? Was there an epiphany of like, I don't want to be this person.
Mhm.
I actually want to take accountability
Hey,
for the role
Pat.
I played and not let this define me.
Mhm. Actually, there was a class that I took, and it was called ICVC. And it's an acronym for impact of crime on victims.
Okay.
And I took this class. It was a 12-week class, and it's all about accountability. And so, as I was going through the courses, I realized that I had made mistakes before my crime. I had made choices before my crime. And I feel like even though I didn't get in trouble for those things, this was a chance and an opportunity for me to honestly learn from those things that I've done in the past. So, and I completed that class and actually went back to teach the class.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
There
and
you go.
it was really enjoyable for me to pass the baton on and just kind of like teach others what I have learned. It was a very impactful class for me. And I think it's sad, there are people that don't want to better themselves, but for me, it was always known. It was part of that freedom to do, things with my life that I've never done before. So one of the first things I did was, get into GED class because I wanted to better my education.
I think the world has a ton of empathy for what you went through. And I think sometimes the questions people do have, a lot of people have watched the documentaries, have.
I mean, when you got the time, if I was in jail, I'll say this, I would definitely be taking courses. Something to make the time pass. You learn something new, and you're not just sitting there doing nothing all day. Why not better yourself? I mean, shit, she didn't get to go to high school. I'd go get my GED too.
Yeah, I would
Actually,
too.
that's funny that she was saying she took a course in accountability. I got like the town adult ed pamphlet for the courses coming up. And they had one in grieving and they had another in the afterlife and spiritual passing. And I was like, that's pretty interesting. I've never seen courses like that. But hey.
No, not going to that course because I'm not calling spirits. Mm-mm.
No,
They
I
say,
don't think
this
the
is how you
spirits, but the
call a
grieving would be
spirit.
interesting. Right?
No,
That would
as
be
soon as
interesting to see. Just to
as
be
soon
like a
as they
fly
said,
on the wall.
as soon as they would have said, this is how you call a spirit, I'm out. I'm out. Bye. No, ma'am. No.
Yeah, exactly, Roddy. Free courses all day, I'll take them. Anything to
Yeah.
better the situation.
And they have jobs in prison. They have
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. They have all kinds of stuff going on. Like she said, they had a whole football party. Man, prison sounds like a vacation, pretty much.
Right? Oh my God, I saw this body cam footage on TikTok last night, and this guy was singing, I forgot what song he was singing, but he was like, "This is the best day of my life," kind of a song. And the cop's like, "Why are you singing that song right now?" He's like, "Because I get a 24-hour vacation away from my wife right now." I was like,
Hey,
"Oh my God, here we go."
my kids will be like,
Get
I'll
yourself
say
a song.
something, and they're like, "You'll go to jail." I'm like, "Well, that'll be a break from me. So you had to drive
Right?
y'all's
What are you
daddy
gonna do
crazy."
without me? I don't think you'll like that very much after 10 hours.
They'll be like, "Mom, where's Mama? Where is Mama?" They're
Seen
always
the
looking for
act.
me.
And I think it's that
Oh yeah.
those scenes at the end where you're being interrogated by the police and you're lying initially about what happened. And so much of that documentary also talks about your mother and her deceit and her ability to manipulate so many people. And a kind of a through line or a common question throughout the documentary was kind of, how much of Gypsy's mom is potentially still in you and with what you learned and, those behaviors. Do you think about that? And is that something that you've actively tried to overcome?
Of course. I lived with her for 24 years of my life, and she did things in her life. She shoplifted. There was fraud. Like there was a lot of things, criminal activity that she was doing that I grew up in. I watched her do all these things. So for me, it is a conscious effort to, go back in my mind and realize that is the wrong thing to do. This is the right way to do things. I'm reprogramming myself, and it takes a minute. I have a pretty clear knowledge of what right and wrong now. The obvious stuff. But for the things that
Right there too, like she didn't have a positive role model in her life. Like, so for her decisions, the way she acted upon them were the decisions that she knew because she didn't have positive influences in her life. Her mom was plotting, scheming, frauding the government, frauding her as to be a victim for, the medical stuff, like the benefits with the Make-A-Wish, all of that. Like, I'm sorry, but her
Yeah,
mom
like
didn't.
I've watched a documentary, had nothing to do with Gypsy, but more in depth with Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Yep.
The mother actually ended up unaliving the child at the
Oh
end of
my
it
God.
because they were pretty much doing the same thing that Gypsy went through growing up,
Yeah.
saying they had all this medical stuff going on. I can't remember what video it was, to save my life, but I wanted to get more in depth of like other cases like Gypsy to kind of like, okay, so to be like, okay,
There
it would
is.
have been either Gypsy or her mom, to be quite honest.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
more than likely Gypsy. If
And I think that's why people have a lot of, you know, understanding with
sympathy,
her situation. Yeah, and
sympathy and
I hope
empathy.
that's the case. I really do hope that's the case because
Yeah,
she
because
deserves it. She went through a hell of a whole lot.
I'm telling you, look up some. There was like a survivor of their parent or someone in their family, their caregiver or something that survived someone in their family with Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying what she did was right, but what I'm saying is she had to choose either it was going to be me or,
Mhm.
to get out of that situation. Had
Yeah.
she have Should she have called the police? Probably, but she didn't know she had that resource. You gotta think
Exactly. I
about it.
mean, like I
She
said,
just
look
wanted
at
out
who she had as a role model. Her mother was telling her not to talk to cops, not to talk to anybody, not to
because
open
they
your
won't
mouth, to
believe
tell
her.
anyone anything. Yeah, that was
So,
implanted in her brain.
I mean,
Hey, JJ.
if you look at the interview, like everyone, like the one she did, like a few years, I think it was a year or two after she was locked up. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't mind. I think it
Yeah,
was a
it
couple
was like a
years.
year. Yep.
Yeah. And she stated in that interview, my mom told me no one would believe me. They would think I was a what's the medical term for
Insane. Yep.
mentally
Um, schizophrenic.
mentally disabled, let's put it that
Incompetent.
way.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
mentally disabled to cover the R word. Um that they wouldn't believe her because she's going around telling everybody, "Oh, she's got a mind of a 7-year-old. She thinks like a kid. She says all kind of crazy stuff." You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
that's what she was told. So she had
And
limited
look at her.
resources.
She did. And she couldn't talk to her father. I know that was a
No, because
whole
her
thing
mom
where
was telling her that her dad um was addicted to alcohol and
hmm
drugs and stuff like that, and he didn't want them anymore. He didn't want to have anything to do with her. It's like, okay. So she couldn't
Okay.
call her dad. And people's like, why didn't she call her dad? That's where I'm getting at. Like, have you watched it? Have you watched her interviews?
Yeah.
Watch her interviews and then make a decision on what your opinion is.
When something's implanted in your brain too, like, and that's all you know, that's in your development as you're growing, it's
Yeah.
hard to think of anything else. And that's why she's gone through, thank God, lots of treatment. And I'm glad she has a whole treatment plan after jail because it's gonna be a big transition.
Yeah.
She's never had to live on her own. Not that she's living on her own, but you know what I mean? Without anybody really family wise. That she has her dad and her stepmom and her sister, thankfully, but never with a husband either. Like that's a whole thing in itself.
I hope that husband
Never
don't get on
lived
her
with her.
nerves.
I there was a TikTok, we'll watch it at the end, and she was addressing the hate comments, and she was like, "I'm gonna," or no, her TikTok got hacked, and the husband
Mhm.
comes in and was like, "I'm gonna find y'all," and she's like, "Babe, babe." It was kind
I
of cute though. I had to laugh.
I
He's like,
I
"I'm
probably
gonna
would have said,
protect her at all costs."
he's a mess.
Yeah,
And
Didi.
then
Yeah,
some.
she did supposedly
Yeah.
unalive someone in her family. Yes, that is true.
Yep. That it's alleged though. We don't know if it's true. Could
That's
be.
true. Every phone call was monitored by her mother too. That was the other
Imagine
thing.
someone having
Yeah,
their ear glued to the door every phone call you have. It's like, bro, chill. I'm going
yeah.
outside. Maybe my best friend will see me walking, keep playing with me.
But her mother would have stopped her from going outside. Like all of that. Like she was a prisoner in her own home.
Yeah. Like,
She was lucky that she even got a hold of Nick the way she did. I hate to say it like that.
well, she had a best friend too that she said she looked at as a sister. And She needed me as a best friend because I come and check on my friends if I can, at
Right?
least daily.
Right?
And so, like my real outside of the internet friends.
Yeah.
So I'm checking on them. I'm coming to your house. If I see you walking, I'm calling somebody because you're walking,
Yep.
bro. Like I don't know. Maybe her best friend was like, her best friend was raised different, so she was probably
They
out
were younger
living her
too. They
life.
were much
Yeah,
younger. They didn't have well, they had cell phones, but it wasn't like
it was
the
a
cell
flip
phone
phone.
technology we have now. Yeah. I mean, they had the internet, but it's not like the internet that we have now. It was like DSL days when you had no choice but that thing to make that loud ass noise to let people know you were going online.
Uh-uh.
Like,
They had high speed. No, they had Wi-Fi in 2015.
okay.
I think
Oh,
it started
15?
canceling out like yeah, cause
Yeah.
I think she moved in that
Yep.
house after Hurricane Katrina,
You're
which
right.
happened in like 2000, 2005, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we did have
So
high speed. Yeah.
we had high speed by
I'm thinking like
2015.
high school days for me with the
You
DSL,
you
man.
thinking about like the early 2000 when we had MySpace?
That's that was my time period. That's why.
Yeah, cause
I'm
she
like
had a
high school
Facebook.
days. AOL Instant Messenger, bitch. That was the
Yeah,
best,
you had to wait like 50 years for one YouTube video to load, and by the time it loaded, you didn't feel like watching it anymore.
right? Hey, Steven, your internet's back. We're dealing with winds over here too. I hope you're safe though. You got mail? Hell yes. Those days.
That maybe aren't so clear or the lines are maybe a little blurry, I do have a wonderful dad and a wonderful stepmom and a wonderful husband
Yeah.
that I can ask them questions like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And also I'm in therapy. So, I talk about it with my therapist. I'm very raw and honest in saying, "Hey, I know that this was not a normal childhood. Um, I'm the product of someone that was very deceitful. How do I prevent myself from falling prey to being like her?" I don't think I'm like my mother at all. I try actively not to be.
Quite honestly, from everything I've seen and just a little bit of getting to know you,
Mm.
to me, it's the effort. It's the
Yeah.
awareness and the
Mhm.
acknowledgement and just the ability to recognize the challenges you face,
Mhm.
to recognize and even admit sometimes it can be scary as a victim to acknowledge what's happened to you. So the fact that you're even doing that is, I think, inspiring, and it says a lot about the effort and progress you've made.
Thank you. Thank you. I try.
Speaking of these documentaries and shows, have you watched all of them that have been out about you?
Actually, I haven't watched any of them.
Any of them.
Any of
Are
them
you
because
actively doing that, or was that just like I couldn't
no,
watch it?
no. I'm proud of the HBO doc that I did. I did an interview for
Mhm.
that. I'm very proud of it. I'm very close with the writer and the producers and everything. I'm close with the people that we worked with it, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I lived it, so I
Mhm.
just don't feel a need to watch all this
To
stuff.
relive it.
Right, to relive
Absolutely.
it. Like telling it and doing these interviews are hard enough. Like at the end of the day, I have like trauma. And so for me having to do interviews is in a sense reliving it. And I can bet you that I'll have a nightmare reliving it all
Mm,
over again. So
I agree. That's interesting to hear though that she hasn't watched any of the documentaries. She hasn't watched
The
anything on
docu
her.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, she lived it. She did the interview. She doesn't know how they portrayed her though, and that could be a thing that she might be scared of. I mean, I know that would be something scary if I did a docu-series, and how are they going to portray me if you have no credit or edit control, any of that? I
Now she
mean,
got a comment. Now, mind you, her mom had a cat. Okay.
mm,
Someone said in a comment section, I don't know where I think she talks about it in this interview. I'm not sure. Sorry, guys. Um, and someone commented says, "So do you still have the hamster?" She's like, "I've never had a hamster a day in my life. What are you talking about, a hamster?" And on the act, the girl that portrays
yeah,
Gypsy Rose has a hamster instead of a cat.
yes, yeah,
I'd
which
be the
they
same
changed
way. I'd be
things
like,
up.
"What?" Right. It wasn't
I mean,
accurate.
they have to change the story up because then it makes it so it's not um it's considered nonfiction at that point when they change names and stories. So that might have been a reason. I'm not sure. Maybe it was easier to have a hamster than a cat. I mean,
I
but
have
this
8
is what
cats. Any
people
one of them
they
could have been
only
in there.
see things like that and they don't like read her full story. I don't know. Can't base it on a
Uh,
TV show.
no, but that TV show got me intrigued with this case, so I'm like, is this based on a
Yes,
real story? Like, what's going on? Because I didn't remember it being all over the news.
I
It was
do.
like
I remember it
2015.
being all over the news. This was one of the cases I followed. I followed the Casey Anthony case when that happened and
Oh, my
the
mom was
Jodi
glued to
Arias
the
case when that
TV.
happened.
Have you seen
Oh, I
the
know.
documentary for Casey Anthony's parents taking a lie detector test?
Yes, yes,
I
I
watched that
did.
too. My husband was like, "Oh
That's
my God,
very
these
interesting.
ads." He went and Googled the end.
There you go. Find out what really happened.
I got him over here watching documentaries with me. He don't mind.
Hey, hey, I got my boyfriend to agree to go to Broadway with me today.
Mm-mm.
He's
I
never
can't do
seen a musical
Broadway.
a day in his life. I was like,
I have.
listen, it's Chicago. It's based in the 1920s. Like, they got the mobsters. You like it. You like music, so I don't see why you wouldn't like a musical, but
I don't like
definitely,
somebody
I can't wait.
hollering.
I've been to like smaller theaters for musicals, but not like New York Broadway. Like, so I'm excited about that, and then getting to see Ariana too. So
Ariana Grande?
that's why I want to go. No, not Ariana Grande. Ariana Madix from Vanderpump Rules.
Oh,
So she's playing Roxy
who's
in
her?
Chicago.
I don't know who
It's
that
that
is.
show that I talk about here on my channel, you know. She's the girl that
Oh,
she's the one that had her boyfriend had the affair on her. So she's kind of gotten some good roles since then, and she's made her money. It's like, you want to see me come back? I'll come back. Everyone's supporting her and giving her money and giving her ads and advertise. She's done battery commercials. I mean, anything and everything.
Battery.
Take it. Yeah. Well, because he made a joke that she wouldn't be able to run the house without him because she doesn't even know where the batteries are for the remotes. So Duracell hit her up and was like, "Hey, you want to do a battery commercial and say like
They
you can
want to be
handle this
petty.
without him?" Yes. And she was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it. I would do it too. Fuck it." You
I
say I
would
can't
too.
run the house 'cause I don't know where the batteries are. Okay, let's
Look,
do
I don't
this.
have a junk drawer. I have a little bottom of a box. Don't know where it came from. That I just stuff random stuff, batteries,
There
everything
you
in
go.
on the top shelf.
I
That's
just
right there.
my grandmother actually, I was just cleaning out her cupboards and we took her old they're like the Dutch cookie tins, the ones that's like a variety of cookies. I'll have to take a picture. But I used those empty ones and I cleaned them out and I put all the different batteries in each different one for her. And it looks so cool in the cabinet, you know.
Oh
So,
Lord.
you know, if you wanted to keep the tins, I was like, you can keep them. We'll recycle them. We'll make it so that the junk is in a tin. It works better. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, Ariana from Vanderpump. Yes, my
I
girl.
don't need to watch it.
I think it's definitely different to watch people try to portray to be you and your mother, and how hard that could be to watch and be like, well, that's not how that happened, or that,
Mhm.
like, I can't imagine having to watch that back as you. So
Mhm.
I understand you not
Yeah.
watching
Not
that.
Yeah,
wanting
she won't
to.
even watch my seasons of The Bachelor. So, I can't.
I
I
won't.
get it.
That being said, have you been made aware of what's in it and whether any family members watched it and specifically the act? Because
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of people who know your story
Mhm.
through that show.
Mhm.
Are you aware of any inaccuracies that were portrayed that bothered you, or did you hear about it, or are you just kind of completely oblivious to what is in that
You
show?
know, I have had my stepmom Christy, she watched it. She
Okay.
watched all the episodes. And she was kind of relaying what all was put in there. And there is a bunch of inaccuracies, according to her.
Okay.
So, and actually a couple of fans of the show was like, "Do you still have the hamsters?" And I'm like, I've never owned a hamster in my life. I had cats.
There you go,
So
man.
That's wrong.
that's
That was
definitely
a
wrong.
weird creative choice.
I know, I don't get it. But also the way they portrayed, one of my friends that lived in the neighborhood, Aaliyah, the way they portrayed her was, I guess, more of like a wild child, a rebel, a delinquent or something. And she's actually a really sweet girl. And, she got into nursing. So she works at a nursing home. So I think that for me, I don't care so much about the inaccuracies of that show because I'm doing this all stuff. Like I'm out now.
Right.
Mhm.
I have a voice now. The hardest thing was to watch everyone tell my story and get it wrong and speculate and everything. But now I'm
It's your
free.
turn.
I have it's my turn now.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing you
I do agree there. It's her time to shine and get her story out there and create the accuracy that she wants it to be because so many questions have been asked, so many assumptions have been made, and
Mm-hmm.
she'll learn through time that you can't please everyone regardless, and
Mm-mm.
sometimes you can't change someone's mind about a situation,
I wonder.
no matter how
I am.
bad.
I am intrigued about what if Nick Godejohn is going to come out and have a comeback, like have another interview.
I think people might push him to do it since
Mm-hmm.
she's telling a lot of her story. They're going to be the people that are going to try to get an interview with him for sure.
Right, because I have a feeling that's going to come out. I have a feeling because she's telling
Yeah.
the story and people are like, well, why isn't he out? Blah, blah, blah. Where's his side of the story?
Well, he's the
You look
actual
at his
murderer. He's
interviews.
the one that committed the crime. She was only
There's
accessory to murder.
screenshots.
She didn't
There's
actually.
proof.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
broadcasted before everybody was like, oh my God, don't show
No, they
gruesome
can't
stuff.
do
I saw a shadow. There's a hairy man behind you.
Megz said he saw a shadow. No.
He looks like a tall
Once
guy.
her story's
I'm
out there,
scared of
what?
him.
So she'll say in this podcast because he'll say to her like, "What's next?" There's not a right or wrong answer for this, but I do hope for her. I'm not going to say her answer, but I hope for her that she can use her platform to make more awareness to different parents that like her situation as what happened to her as a kid and how she can overcome it and bring out the mental health aspect and all of that because I think it's important. And she has a 9 point something million following platform right now on TikTok. That would be the best for her, I think. Hey Pam, what do you think? What do you think from Gypsy? What's your goals for Gypsy?
Throw the haters out the window.
There you go. I agree. Does she still speak to her ex? I do not think so.
No, she
I know
doesn't.
she doesn't have any contact with Nick,
She
and then she
she
hasn't
is
met her
not
ex-boyfriend too.
she is not allowed for her parole deal. She can get permission
Okay.
to leave the state of Louisiana. She just has to call up her
Okay.
parole officer. That's why she's able
Yeah.
to travel. She just has to let them know where she's going, stuff like that. I think she has parole
Yeah.
for about a year and a half.
Mhm.
She cannot have contact at all with Nick. That's why she kind of just tippy toes away from that subject when they ask her about him. So I'm
Yep.
thinking she's not allowed to even talk about him either. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's probably stipulations.
There's a possibility that she can't even talk about him. She can't discuss anything with him. She can't keep because people will say, "Are you still in contact with him?" She's not allowed to talk to him. Period.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
exactly.
part of her
Would you
parole.
want her to have contact with him? I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't want
And
to have
Pam, it was
contact with
either
him.
me or Hoggets that gifted the membership, so you're very welcome. And welcome to my channel.
been very open about is your relationship with Nick.
Mhm.
You mentioned the abuse. You
There we
mentioned
go.
just kind of, some of his dark.
Mhm. Mhm.
Something that really bothered me when I was watching the act is he comes across a little sympathetic towards the end. They
Mhm.
highlight his autism, Do you have any thoughts about that? And despite what Nick did to you and your mother,
Mhm.
do you have any empathy for him being in prison and what he has gone through?
I think that we both, like him and I, both have a lot of regrets. Obviously, I wish that this would have never happened this way. Now, for him specifically, I did my time. I know he's doing his time for his part of things.
Mhm.
I just that whatever he does with his future, because he is spending the rest of his life in prison, um, I acknowledge that I am the reason for that. However, I don't feel either that it's a situation where it's a sympathetic type of situation.
Okay.
And I mean, the reason why I say that is because in my past relationships, I've had 2 relationships since I've been
Mhm.
incarcerated. And each one of my exes and even my husband is like, "Baby, if you would have asked me that question, if you would have said, 'Hey, can you kill my mom to get me out of this situation?' They would have said, 'No. Okay,
Yeah.
no, we're not
He
doing
said,
that.
"Let's go to the police.
Let's go to the
Let's" yeah.
police. Okay, I'm gonna get you out of this situation, but let's go to the authorities. All right, and we're gonna do this the right way." Nick did not say that. He has these dark fantasies. He wanted to do it. It was a fantasy he lived out, and he's paying the consequences for that. So with that being said, it's neither here nor there for, in my opinion, what I think of the situation. It's just it is what it is.
Have you been able to, come to peace with that night, or have you relived that night over and over in your head and
I
kind of
still
you,
yeah, I still suffer from, PTSD, and trauma. I keep reliving this one nightmare over and over again, and it's tied to that night. It's tied to the house.
are you able to share that?
So yeah, and I've had actually 2 nightmares that reoccur a lot. So the first one, my therapist said, is attributed to the guilt that I feel for not reaching out to other people, to help me out. So the first one that I have is I have a cell phone. I'm in my dream. I'm holding a cell phone and I'm trying to call my dad. And the number, for some reason, I can't get through to him. The number doesn't work. The phone is turned off or whatever it be. I can't get through to him. And I have that nightmare again and again and again. And then the other one is about that night, and I keep on going back into that house and just feeling very frightened. And the murder just happens again and again and again in my mind. Like I'm free physically, but I'm not free from the trauma.
Yeah.
You obviously have regret,
Mhm.
right? So looking back, is there something you would have done different to protect yourself and ultimately save your life?
This all started as a child, like as a toddler. So I grew up in a household where my mother said that she had magical powers and she'd put a voodoo hex on me if I ever tried to leave. My mother suffered from a lot of mental illness. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. So, my mom used to say that she heard voices and saw shapes and things like that. So, for me, I think the regret.
Right there, it's like she was diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar, yet she was seen as a fit mother. I mean, why weren't they checking up on her, knowing these diagnoses? I
The
think
hex thing.
people, yeah, like
Someone
she
on
got the hand
TikTok,
of the stick from people, I feel like. I mean, clearly, those 2 disorders, schizophrenia just in itself is unbelievable. And then you add bipolar on top of it. Like, where was CPS? Where were these people check, like the therapist? Where was the therapist,
I
like knowing she had a child at home? Like,
about the hex
I don't
thing,
know.
there was a
Yeah.
TikTok. The lady I think also studies that kind of stuff, probably performs it.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It's the first time I ever seen them on my For You page.
Yeah.
And she said she watched a Lifetime interview, right? Where Gypsy had described what this hex was. I'm not going to go into details because it's gory. I don't know if they talk, I can't remember if they talk about it in this interview, but it is kind of gross. That lady said
Yeah.
what happened was she thought she knew what she was doing, and the hex reversed on Dee Dee.
Oh my God. Oh
That's what
my
she
God.
said. Cause she's like, I do this stuff. Um, she does
Yeah.
voodoo. So she said, if you don't know what you're doing, it can reverse back on you.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do that mess.
That's
I don't go
crazy.
to a live about that mess.
Yeah,
Nope.
right?
Nope.
I'm staying away from that shit. I
I
believe
stay
there's
far away
powers and
from
things like that, but it ain't for me, honey. I'm good. I believe in Jesus Christ.
Goes back so much further than the crime. I wish that even as a little girl, I would have maybe even said something like, "Mommy hears voices," you
And
know,
just start
and
telling
just started
people.
telling people,
Yeah.
some of the smaller things that was going on. Maybe even if it didn't make sense to me,
Right.
just kind of make those comments.
Right. Why do you think you didn't? Were you just
Because my mother,
you were
she
scared?
isolated us from
Yeah.
our family. In my younger years, it was easier. But the older that I got, the worse she got. And so, and the smaller of a circle we had to reach out to.
Do you still, I mean, despite having the regret, are you able to give yourself that grace? Because
Mhm.
you were such a young child.
Mhm.
You didn't know any better. You didn't
I know.
know the difference between, well, maybe voodoo's a real
Mhm.
thing, all those things. Are you still able to give yourself that grace, even though you still live with that
Mhm.
regret?
I'm trying. I'm trying to work on self-forgiveness. I had a conversation with my stepmom and it was like, sweetie, people are sympathetic to you, not and they're praising you not because of what you did, the crime. They are praising you and they give you so much support because you survived it. Whereas other children and people would have died in that kind of a situation. And so I'm trying to give myself grace. I'm trying to give myself understanding. And working with the therapist, it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
It's that emotional process.
Yeah, it absolutely does take some time.
Mhm.
And that was actually one question I had too, is because for all the people who watch the documentaries, they've watched the shows, they've heard how your mom's family has spoken about her. I know in some other interviews you said that you don't think your mom is a monster.
No, I
And I think it's
don't.
admirable for you to go
Mhm.
to go out of your way to have that grace for your mom because
Mhm.
of what she did to you.
Mhm.
That being said, you being the public figure now, I'm sure people are going to approach you.
Mhm.
People can get kind of nervous and awkward when they meet someone they're a fan of. For all the people who have a very, very specific and very intense feeling towards your mom for what she did to you,
Mhm.
how does that make you feel? And what would you say to someone who kind of nervously goes up
Mhm.
to your mom and says something maybe even as crass as she deserved it?
Yeah, actually, I've gotten that a lot.
Okay.
I had that a lot of the girls in prison said, "Girl, I would have done the same thing." It makes me cringe. I hate that.
You
And
hate
I
to
felt
say
so
that.
much
I get it.
guilt um whenever I first got arrested because it spiraled so.
I think the video froze on my end, but we could still hear it. That's a good thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, they were trying, it was their way of trying to say, I can relate to your issue, I can see your issue and understand why you did what you did. And that's their way of understanding the situation. And
I probably
maybe
would have
that's
said
what
the same
she,
thing. Cause my slang
I,
would have been like, "Girl, I would have did the same thing." That's
I know.
slang.
What other way out did you have? Literally. I mean,
I
she was
mean,
literally making it hard for her.
she did try to run away, but what happened when her mom caught her?
Exactly.
The way I would have found somebody from another country. She had money.
Yeah, right. Take me
I
to
would have been
London.
gone.
Get me the hell
Take,
out of here.
take, take me
She
to
had a
Europe.
passport.
Take
That's
me.
true. She had a passport.
She could have went to Spain, learned Spanish.
But it was also like how much knowledge did she have at that time either? She didn't really have a way to get all of that resources or I don't know. I'd be freaking out thinking like my mom knows I have this card or like if she like bought a ticket with a credit card, could my mom see this kind of a thing, you know? There's a lot of questions, but I would have said to her too, you did what you had to do. You were a victim in this.
Right. Like,
quickly. I got arrested,
Yeah,
and
like
then
what else
my
are you
attorney
supposed to do?
visited me, and then all of a
exactly.
sudden he's got a stack of paperwork on his desk talking about the Blanchard fraud scheme, and people were saying that my mother was a bad mom and things like that. And for me, I'm like, I was in a state of shock. So I was processing it all, but I felt a sense of guilt because I'm like, I'm hearing these words like, your mother was a whatever. She deserved it. And I'm like, no, she didn't. I think the one thing that people think is that I hated my mom. And I'm like, no, I loved my mom. I just wanted out of that situation. I wanted out of that home.
Yeah. And I think that's something that people forget or don't know. And what I learned through the documentary is you tried to run away
I did, yes.
several times.
The first time was with a guy, a much older guy. And I grew up on Disney princess movies, and so I thought like the only escape I had was with a guy. So that was only my form of reference for anything. And that didn't pan out. He didn't even have a vehicle. So I was leaning on different people, just not the right people.
Yeah.
You're gonna come save me without a car?
Ma'am,
Let me get
I'd
on
be
the back
like,
of your bike.
let me get on the back of your moped, whatever you have. I don't
Oh my
care.
God.
You
I'll
got a
save you,
moped?
honey.
And they come to
But
find out he's
that,
on probation.
oh my God. But she is right though. She grew up on Disney princesses.
Yeah, I
That's
think the
all
same
she
thing.
knew was these Disney princesses. That
I
you're gonna
think her
fall in
mom just
love, a
wanted her to be a
dinosaur,
baby.
rescue her. Yeah, I agree.
Look how young she looked. Like
I
like a little
know.
child.
Even this one with her dad and I think that's her stepbrother. So
Might be a
young.
cousin
Her,
or something.
I have a lot of different ones. And then I have all of her jail shots, which I find very interesting. Oh, Jesus. I just saw someone go live. Like this one.
You,
Oh my God. That was in the courthouse for her sentencing.
her hair grew fast
And
too.
here she. Oh,
Look
yeah.
how pretty.
Much better.
Yes, girl.
I love
Yes.
And this was the outfit she had on for Nick Viall. It was like a skirt short thing. It was pretty. I liked it. It did look weird though when she was sitting on the couch. It looked like she didn't have shorts on. And that was her and Ryan when she was in jail.
I don't even want to repeat what my husband said when we watched this interview again last night.
Oh God. Oh God.
He's such a pervert.
Oh
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
I'm like, she is pretty though, isn't she? He said, yeah.
She is. Should get you in a whole lot of trouble though too.
So have you doing stuff you ain't never thought you'd do, buddy. You just stay over here.
Yeah.
Let me
You
stop.
started this conversation, you were referring to other interviews, and that one interviewer just calling you a murderer.
Yes.
Do you feel that way about yourself, or do you feel more as if that you're a survivor?
I don't associate myself as a murderer because if you think about it, yes, I had a part to play in it. I asked Nick for help. And how that conversation started was, he was saying that he would protect me from anyone. I said anyone. He said yes. I said even my mother. He said yes. And then the plan kind of formed from there. But he's the one that did the actual kill, not me. I can't kill anyone. That's why he's in trouble to begin with, because he's the one that did it. So when they say I'm a murderer, I don't identify as that. I'm an accessory. Absolutely, yes, I did that. I am an accessory to murder. However, that doesn't define me. I did my sentence. I did my part, I did what the judge wanted me to do. Now that that's over, let me live my life. Let me reinvent myself. Give me a
Absolutely.
chance.
Yeah.
Because before I didn't even have that chance to begin with. So let me show you guys who I am as a person before you just start slapping labels on me.
Now
Mhm.
that you can finally decide who you want to be.
Yes.
You were held accountable. Nick was held accountable. But
unfortunately, with our society, social media,
It's
all of
awake.
that,
It's awake.
people are
It's
gonna
wide
slap a
awake.
label. Yep, yep. She'll
She's
notice
manipulating
after a
all of you
while.
guys. Oh, give me a break. You know what? I could
She's
just be
definitely
like,
not doing that.
you don't know the story, like with a megaphone and a blowhorn. Brr! You don't know
Yeah.
the story
Oh, thank you,
because you can only do
Polly.
so
Beanie
much.
baby. I know.
I should grab my beanie. It's in my top drawer.
There you go.
It's got like
Hey, it was
almost.
cold outside before. When I was talking
Hold
to you, I
on.
was like, I gotta hurry up and smoke this joint. I was like, it's cold out here.
It's cold out here in
I'm
this
gonna push
bitch.
it back for 10 minutes.
Where's my beanie at? Hold on. I know it's in
No
here.
problem.
I have a whole
While
bunch
you're
of.
doing that, we'll listen a little bit.
Watching all the content, all the things that are out there,
Mhm.
no doctors were held accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just frustrating as a viewer to watch, whether it was the act or the documentaries, to have all these doctors, people we trust with our health. We don't
Mhm.
know any better. How do you know?
Right.
Does that ever anger you? And do you feel like there are people in the medical community that should be held accountable for what happened to you?
Of course. I mean, I think that the doctors, whether or not they even suspected it in their own minds or whatever, they didn't do anything about it. So there was no report, there was no follow up, and I think that money plays a big part in it. Hey, they're getting paid. This girl needs a lot of medical care. It's more money in my pocket, right? So I think we live in a system that's very money hungry and selfish. And so if it cost me my life, what does that mean to someone else? So they aren't held accountable. And I actually, like my parents and
There
my
you go,
dad and
Meg.
stepmom tried to look for an attorney that can take my case for malpractice
There you
lawsuit.
go,
And I
Meg.
don't think anyone wants to touch it. Like I've not been able to find one.
Really?
Yeah, no, that's really surprising actually.
It seems so obvious.
Maybe there's
Mhm.
some lawyers listening to this.
Yeah, I need
who,
some legal advice.
yeah, that
I was honestly shocked when she said that not a lawyer wants to touch this case, especially with the malpractice. Like I said, where were the doctors? Where were the therapists that diagnosed her mother? Like, why aren't they held accountable for even her with all of her medical treatment that she got that she didn't need? Like, where were they? They didn't care. And
Well,
she's absolutely right. It's all about the money. They were getting paid. They were getting paid.
there was one doctor that wrote in the notes, mother
Yes.
has Munchausen syndrome by proxy. He stated in his interview that he wanted to report it, but you got to think about it. He's going against all these other doctors that are believing what her mother says,
Yes.
but he was
They failed.
dying to report it.
Yep, they failed there. And Chloe said,
Yeah,
"Well, I'm gonna
so
say, I think it's wrong that her ex has to serve life and she didn't, and she didn't. Don't kill me. No, we're not gonna kill you. That's your opinion. I think that he has his own mental health issues and he is autistic. There's a lot of factors that I don't believe he deserved life in prison, but are they going to help him and get the treatment that he needs as well for him to come back out into society and
that's if he
live
chooses
a
to,
normal life?
because they leave it
Exactly.
up to you.
Yeah,
They really
and
do.
they do. It's up to him. So if he is willing to do what he needs to do, then I'm all for him getting out. Like he didn't have a chance either. I mean, he was in his growth as well when all of this happened. He
He was
had thoughts that maybe he
26.
never talked to anybody about, that maybe he needed to talk to somebody about. I mean, there's a lot of factors. That, we'll see how it goes. Well, this story is far from over. There'll be much more Gypsy in our life.
that seems shocking and very disappointing.
Mm.
Because, like I said, I mean, when we go to the doctor, we for most of us, we don't know any better. We don't know
Exactly.
anything, and whatever a doctor tells us is gospel.
Mhm.
And again, you went to the doctor more than maybe anyone ever,
Oh, yeah.
and every time you went, all these doctors were doing were just confirming the lie that your mother
Mhm.
was telling you, and truly couldn't imagine. I couldn't put myself in your shoes, and it angered me so much because it's such a vulnerable position to be in when we go to the doctor's office and we
Mhm.
put our health and our lives in their trust, and you were failed time and time again.
I think that there needs to be a certain level of education about Munchausen by proxy syndrome because I have a friend that's in the medical field and she told me there's probably about a paragraph that they brief them on. And it's something that is not talked about enough. I think when my case happened, people really started taking notice and started to pay attention to it because before my case, I never heard of it.
Right.
It was there was no TV show. There was no episodes of anything. So, now I think there's more awareness, but I still think that there just isn't enough. But what's interesting is about 2 months ago I had a mother reach out to me in prison and she was telling me about how she's going through a custody battle with her ex-husband. She has a 3-year-old and the psychologist and the therapist that they hired on the husband's, behalf to interview the mother put the diagnosis of Munchausen by proxy on her. And she's like, "I would never hurt my child. My child is not even on any medications." She has
That's crazy. And that's the other problem we have with, you know, people that's a whole custody case. And to hire a therapist or a medical professional to analyze your ex-wife, that just seems weird. And why can't she get her own medical professional to diagnose her? Because clearly he has some kind of a bias. That's crazy that that's even what goes on in this world. But I can see it happening. That's the sad part. Like, and I agree with her. There's not enough knowledge on Munchausen by proxy. I think people think it's just, someone in their own delusions that think they're always sick or someone else is always sick, and there isn't enough out there. Just like there isn't enough out there to talk about mental health and how it affects people. And that's what I hope for her platform is that she can bring more awareness because she lived with someone that had Munchausen. Like she was a
Yeah.
victim of it. She
And
deals with
now all of
mental
a
health
sudden,
issues all day. Yeah.
yeah, because I mean, when my kids have like a fever, I'm like, okay, we got to figure out what this is. I'll take them to the doctor,
Yeah.
but if it's a virus type of thing, I'm like, nothing I can do but get you some Gatorade. Hope that stays
Yeah.
down. Some crackers or what. You're going to be on a slim diet. We're not going to have anything that irritates your stomach. But if it's like a
Yep.
fever, a cough, sore throat, I'm like, I think they have strep or I think they have this, and then they just straight up diagnose them with something. I'm like,
Mhm.
no, that's not the symptoms they're having. So, and to see a parent get diagnosed with that, and all they've done was put tubes in the kid's ear. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
And
not like
how did
they're
he
over
diagnose?
medicating them.
My thing is like working in the legal field at one point, it's like how did they diagnose her? Did he just look at her record? Did he actually sit down and talk to her? Like how did he
Right.
diagnose? You
That
can't
could be
do
a
it with
sickly
one question
child.
either.
Some children have a
Yeah,
weak immune system. Because I
very
I take
true.
my kids if I feel like it's an infection going on and get them antibiotics or whatever they need and
Mhm.
treat them. But if it's something that I can't like, there's no antibiotics for, I'm just like we're just gonna have to live through it. You know, try some home
Oh,
remedies.
she injected her child with feces? Why? Why?
Wait, what?
Casey. She
Who?
said she saw a video about a mom that injected her child with feces. What
No,
the
thank
hell are
you.
you watching, girl?
What are you watching?
Oh my gosh.
I wish
Yeah,
I
I got
would.
questions. I hope that mother though gets her own doctor's opinion, especially with a whole case going on for custody. That is just ridiculous. But
I'd be
it's sad.
throwing
It's sad
hands.
to see. Yep. Oh, me too.
tubes in her ear. That's it. and that, you know, they're trying to take her child from her. And so there seems to be this imbalance. And I'm about to watch the documentary, Take Care of Maya.
Yeah. That's good.
I really want to watch that. So I'm going to watch that over the weekend because I
She
think
just
that
won her case.
did she
Yeah.
good, you know, because it's so sad. There's this imbalance that is going on that either the doctors don't catch it at all, which was in my case,
Mhm.
and then they're putting this diagnosis on people that probably don't have it. And so where is the middle ground?
Yeah, there is none.
There is none right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. When was the first time that you suspected something was wrong? That you were like, this isn't right. I
Mhm.
don't think like I don't feel sick. You
Mhm.
know, like when was that first kind of acknowledgement?
You know, I get this question a lot.
Do you?
And there were things that I knew
Mhm.
growing up that I didn't have wrong with me. So, particularly the wheelchair. Okay, I always knew that I could walk. However, my mom instructed me to stay in the wheelchair. And so I listened. I was a very obedient child. And as for everything else, you know, the things that is not visible, like leukemia and cancer, every time that my mom would tell me that I was going to the doctor for cancer, I thought that I was going to die. Like I thought that I was
Yeah.
a dying
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
Because cancer you can't see.
Right.
So, you know, there was things that I learned while in jail that, oh my God, I'm not dying.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing. You know,
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
already dying.
Wow.
What are your personal goals for yourself now that you're out? Like, what do you want to do?
Mhm.
Is there a particular profession that you're
Mhm.
interested in getting in?
Where do you
You
want
know,
to travel?
Your social
Right.
media has blown up. I mean, you're kind of the quintessential influencer in the sense that, again, so many things that you try are for the first time.
It
And
is.
what is Gypsy love? What is she into? Have you thought about like what do you want to do with your life now that
Mhm.
you're free?
Yeah, I mean, I have personal goals and I have you know, career goals. So, I am, you know, newly together, wed as my
Yeah.
husband calls it. So, you know, I'm married and we're starting our life together. So, on the side of personal goals, we want to start a family someday. You know, I'm 32, he's 37. We don't want to wait too long now.
Right. Right.
So, you know, that's on the side of personal goals. But then on the side of professional goals, it's like, okay, I have this huge platform. Let me use it for something good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to get into advocacy work. I need to make connections with people that are a little bit more established because I'm just coming out of prison. So these things take time. But again, like I never expected to have such a big social media following. So I'm kind of like, okay, I'm coming out of prison. All right, this is all well and good and everything. Selfies and whatnot.
Yeah.
Let's have fun with it for a little while. But then let's get to the serious part. Let's start using my platform for something that means something important.
Yeah. Well, you're also still allowed to have some fun too.
Yeah,
you
of
know.
course. And look good doing it.
Have you ever
Yeah,
thought
look
about
good
the fact
doing
that,
it.
like, you know, now that you're
Mhm.
out, even still, you don't have that kind of quote unquote normal life.
Mhm.
Now you were abused, then you were in prison,
Mhm.
and now you're an instant celebrity.
Mhm.
Like, do you have a desire in the future? And I don't think there's any wrong answer to kind of disappear or go away, or do you don't mind embracing
Mhm.
this public figure life that you have with the opportunity, like you said, to do advocacy, to do good,
Mhm.
and to try to again better this world
Mhm.
as a result of all the pain that you had to suffer, and hopefully help others not.
Mhm. I've always had a very love-hate relationship with the media and the attention from all of
Well, that
this.
won't go away.
And at this point, I've come to accept it. In the past, oh God, I've hated it. I used to cry on my bed, and I'm just like, I want a normal life. That's actually, I was engaged once before.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Ken.
to Ken, yeah, and we were together for 2 years, and then our engagement was announced, and he's a very private person. And so he didn't like the attention. And so I attributed him breaking off the engagement and breaking my heart and devastating me to the fame. And so I definitely spiraled out of control at that time. So that made me hate it. And then seeing how I've been welcomed, that makes me at least feel more comfortable. I won't say love it, but it makes me more comfortable in being who I am.
New year.
Stupid commercial.
I mean, well, yeah, I took those out. That's why I put them in parts. I think, I mean, with the fame, she's always going to have haters, like she said, and she's
Her
going to
husband
need to
makes my
embrace
skin
it.
crawl. He's
Who,
like, who
hers?
writes a letter to a total stranger and then ends up marrying them? It's weird.
People do that. It is
You don't think that's
weird, but
weird?
people do. I do think it's weird, but I'm also not in jail and I'm not lonely. You know what I mean? You never know. Like,
It's still
I don't know
weird.
how I would react to
Habit
being
Like,
like,
forming state of mind.
she did a bad thing. Let me write her.
yeah, hey, you got people that wrote Jodi
Oh,
Arias.
you're going quiet again. What the heck?
I said there were people that wrote Jodi Arias.
What's going on? Is it my internet
Hmm.
being weird?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me? Megz, how do you feel about Gypsy?
Why is
Jackie,
it being
same
weird?
question.
Hold on, let me see if my Bluetooth is on this phone.
Okay. It might be mine, but I just plugged in my other headset. But
No, Bluetooth's off. What the heck?
I think she's a victim. She only learned from what she knew.
I can't hear
She
Jackie.
was.
I'm gonna have to yeet myself and come back in again. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
All right. While she does that, I'll answer. I think that she only knew what she was told and what was implanted in her, and she was a victim of her mother. I do think that there were other options she could have approached. Do I think that she knew those options or were aware? I don't. And I think that hindered what happened. And I don't think she wanted to kill her mother. I think that I'll drop the link. That she just wanted a way out, and unfortunately, that's the avenue they chose, and it wasn't the best, clearly. I think that he deserves a chance just like she does, but he needs to want to change just like she wanted to change. She made the effort to go through courses and classes and have therapy and continue to have therapy to figure out necessarily what is going on with her situation. Can you
Damn
hear me
raggedy
now?
shit. Yeah, I can hear you now. I think it's my end at this point. Raggedy ass shit.
Oh my
Sorry.
word. Your internet. Hey, it's both of ours.
I don't know what's
I know the
going
wizard.
on.
But how do you feel about Gypsy? Coley wants to know. There's my
How do I
kitty.
feel about her? I feel like
Yeah, like
she,
the whole situation.
the whole situation, I feel
Yeah.
like she needed a way out as a victim of abuse. I feel like her, what's it called? Her resources were limited. She was being lied to. She was being told nobody would believe her. Um, a lot of people are saying she's manipulated in the public. I don't think so. I think it's just the way she talks. She has this real high voice, and it's because her mom had her salivary glands removed.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
why
that's
she has a high pitched voice. Um, do I believe she's going to use her platform for good? We'll see. We'll see.
yep.
That's all we can
Time will
do.
tell. Yep.
I do have empathy for her, in a way. Do I think it was right the way she did did it? Not really. But I do hope she learns from it. I hope she keeps up with the therapy. I hope she can find a light somewhere at the end of the tunnel. And if she does have children, I hope she's an even better mom, a better parent
Yeah.
to her children or
Yeah.
child, whichever she decides. And I just hope things turn out fine and nothing crazy happens. I hope she enjoys being free. And besides
Mhm.
just being on social media 24/7, I hope she gets a break from it for a little while. Because you got to think about it.
Yeah.
She's got interviews on top of interviews. But I
Yeah.
do hope she takes a break from it, embraces her freedom, I hope her husband takes good care of her because she does deserve the best. At the end of the day, people that have been in a abusive situation from child on up and get to experience the freedoms,
Mm,
I
yep.
hope she takes advantage of that at least and does use her platform for
Oh,
good, and helps the kids, you know, that are going through it. I hope she can be that one that says, okay, we're going to do this the right way because I did it the wrong way.
yeah.
You don't want to be like me.
Yeah, because
So,
God knows how many kids are dealing with a situation like this that we aren't aware of. And maybe she could be their voice and give them guidance into what the best way to do it is and to just ask for help and don't worry about what your mother is telling you. You need to do what's best for you. Even though at a young age that's hard to understand because your parents always right at that age. So I
yeah,
hope that it does
mother
help some
knows
other kids.
best.
Yep. Oh yeah. What are you doing, kitty kitty? She's like, I got a
I have
maze. I can
two.
go around the room. One is enough right now for me, girl. She is like a
I hope she goes
pre-nut Donna.
shopping. I hope she goes shopping. She needs to go shopping.
She's the type like, I'm gonna lay right here and you need to go around me. Like, I'm not moving. It's like, okay,
I
honey,
have
I love you.
I have Fluffers and I have Miracle. My husband,
What happened
when
to
she was a little kitten,
Spooky?
Spooky's down there. He, for some reason, he's terrified of our bedroom. I don't get it.
Oh,
We don't do nothing to him when he comes up here and lays down. We're like, hey, baby, but he
maybe
prefers to
they're
be out
ghosts.
there. There better not be a ghost because me and that ghost gonna have some problems.
Oh
Better
my
not be a
gosh.
ghost.
So this is part two. So this is pretty much after the commercial. These two parts are like not even 10 minutes each. So this is where
Okay.
Ryan, the fiance, or I shouldn't even say fiance, the husband, the newlywed, re-wed, 'cause they got married in jail, but first time out of jail
I still
wed.
find that creepy and weird. You're
Oh
40, dude.
yeah, it happens though. It happens. It does.
He better treat her like gold or I'm coming to
All right, Ryan,
Louisiana.
we have to ask you, how is
Right?
your heart?
How is my heart?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, how is it feeling? Is it Gypsy's heart is full?
Oh, my heart is completely full.
Okay.
Like, I'm amazed every day that I'm with this woman right here. Like, it's been a roller coaster ride, but I'm enjoying it. I love the fact that I'm the one that's honored to be next to her.
You guys have already been through a lot. Gypsy, you in the documentary, again, I'm really I love your openness. Like,
Thanks.
it's for
Thank
someone
you.
who's been criticized for being deceitful and a liar. I'm really inspired by what seems to me a genuine effort to try to get it right. And you talked a little bit about, lying to your stepmother.
Mhm.
You've talked about lying to Ryan,
Mhm.
about Ken.
Mhm.
How have you guys continued to work through the struggles that you have had? And how has Ryan continued to be supportive throughout that struggle?
I think it's all about communication. My dad, one of the first things he said when I got engaged was, you need to have good communication or else everything's going to fall apart.
Mhm.
So our communication skills are like on point. We're very open and honest with each other, even brutally honest. So if it's something that we don't want to hear, we're going to hear it anyway because that's that honesty.
Yeah. How about you, Ryan? How's this been for you?
Me and Gypsy decided long ago when we got together, we just wanted to be open and honest with each other. Like she said, even if it hurts my feelings or vice versa, we wanted it to be a transparent relationship.
Mhm.
We want this to work, and it's one of those where, I have that unconditional love for her and she does too. Like she has said in the past that I love the good and the bad, Gypsy. I don't, because in past relationships, people have glamorized her and have this perception of her of that little girl and whatever, but I just love the person, Gypsy, good and bad. So it's one of those.
Thank you so much, Coley. I appreciate it. And no problem. This was like a hot topic for sure. And like I said when I was talking to Megz, I was like, I watch Nick Viall because he covers a lot of the Vanderpump stuff. Even like before, what you guys didn't see in part one, he had Katie Maloney, who's part of Vanderpump, and then Dana, who is another TV reality star. They like did a whole promotion commercial for him. So he's always with the Vanderpump people. I personally don't mind Nick, but I can see where he gets irritating to some people. And I was happy to hear that she did it with him because he's very fair with his questions and he's not afraid to ask any kind of a question. So I was glad that it was Nick and not some other podcast that got to her first, kind of a thing. And he had his wife there, and she's just gorgeous. I can look at her all day. But I was glad to see this. But anytime, honey.
The
Oh
demon is on her
no.
way, so I have to lock my door so she
Uh-oh.
doesn't bust up in here going, so today we're gonna do this. Like, no ma'am. No ma'am.
Where
Oh, I
it's
love
great.
it.
People have talked about, they've been critical of you guys rushing, acknowledging that, hey, Gypsy hasn't even had a normal life outside of prison. What has been the first week been like? And have there been already kind of like, oh, okay, well, this is new. I'm all right. Like, okay, didn't know that. But any of those moments, any of those things, you guys have had to have a moment and said, okay, this is the beginning of us learning about each other. And, quite honestly, Natalie and I still, have those moments. But what's it been like for you guys?
I mean, it's been very enjoyable. We spent a couple days at home. I don't think that there's anything that really shocked me about him, but I will say this right now. So,
Is this breaking news?
no.
you know it's coming. So he's getting used to putting the toilet seat down for me because he's been living, by himself for so long. I'm like, and he's like, oh, I put it down every time. I'm like, so I found it and I found it up. And I took a picture of it, and I'm like, no,
as I'm
you
buying
don't.
her shoes, like as I leave to go buy her something.
I left it up the other night, buddy.
I got a picture of it. It's like, see,
Listen, I get it. I mean, look, my boyfriend is good. He's always put the toilet seat down. But those one or two times that he did it, he definitely heard about it. It's like,
No,
did you
I'm
want me
always
to
putting the
follow
toilet
in?
seat down. Like
Oh,
I'm like, these
that's one thing.
freaking men in this house. On my nerves.
My dad was that way. He always left it up. But Jake is good. And I can honestly, like, I can't assume, though. That's the thing. Like, there are maybe one in a blue moon that he leaves it up. And I can't always assume that it's there for me. Like,
Listen, if
then we'll
I'm
have
half
an
asleep and I halfway go in the toilet bowl, oh well. Oh
Hey, you're the
well,
one
I'll just sit
cleaning
on
it.
the
You know
edge.
how clean it is. Hey,
I'm the one
I
cleaning
get
it.
it. I Yeah, so I'm giving out wrenches because I only had 4 mods, and for some reason, Megz, you were always a mod, and it didn't have you as a mod tonight. So I don't know what the hell happened. I'll have to check that out.
I
But
don't know.
you've been a
It's
mod
okay.
on my channel for, well, you're already a mod. I already modded you. I saw that tonight when like I was looking at the chat. I was like, why isn't Meg's a mod? She's been a mod on my channel for like 3 years now. That's so weird. So I don't know what YouTube did, but YouTube's freaking
They
acting up.
ate it.
For
It's
all I know,
okay.
they probably took all of my mods away, and I got to check after this. But well, everyone's getting their wrench, so if I see it, I'll give it.
here's proof. And I was
Here's
just
proof.
like,
You're like, well,
I'm going
I'm
to take your
leaving these
shoes back
shoes.
now. Yeah, I'm going to take these shoes back now. No, yeah, she got me on that one.
What about for you? Anything, that you've learned about Gypsy that's been, interesting
new.
to learn?
Well,
Besides that, she's not a great cook.
well, she's going to work on that.
Yeah.
My mother has told her that she would help her. There's some things that I've learned but it's been great. Like there's not anything that
I mean, she just got out of jail. I don't expect her to know how to cook. Her mom probably did all the cooking up until that point. I mean, when did she
All
have
she
time
had
to
was
learn how
mashed
to cook?
potatoes. That's it.
I know,
And
right?
a feeding tube.
Yep. So she didn't really know how to cook. She didn't have anyone that taught her how to cook, and that's all she knew. So, hey, this will be fun. I think she'll have fun learning to cook. And
Oh
he
Lord, I
seems
hope
like
she
he knows
doesn't burn the
something.
house down.
Right? God.
Trial and error.
Sometimes I'm afraid that I will do that. So it happens. You gotta be
You make me some
careful.
fried pork
Yeah,
chops when
right.
we get
Trial
off of
and error.
here. Craving it.
Ooh, there you go. I had pizza last night. I don't know what we're doing tonight.
I made
Really.
them a pizza so they won't be starving like Marvin.
There you go. What kind of pizza? Anything good on it?
I just got one of
Besides
those
cheese?
frozen pizzas. The good
Oh
ones.
yeah.
The good
Oh,
frozen
I know which
pizza.
one you're talking about.
So
Yep.
my husband said, I'm starving. Can you make me a pizza? I'm like, dude, I'm going, like, we're doing a live in like 10 minutes. What the hell? And then he's in here messing with his stuff, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, I'm
I
gonna go
know.
your
She's
way.
like, he's on the bed messing with his stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I'll push you back 10 minutes. I was still outside smoking anyways. So I was like, this gives me 10 minutes to finish.
I was like, I'm
It worked
ready.
out.
I got my makeup on.
I,
I brushed my hair out.
yeah. I said, fuck the makeup tonight. I was like, I'm just going like this. I
I
didn't
tried
really
the
give a
Pat
fuck what the hell
McGrath.
they think.
It's on my
Ooh, I
eyelids.
love it. I see it. I love it.
Listen, this is like, it feels weird though on my eyelids.
Because
It
it
really does.
dries, right? It's like a gel.
Yeah, I think I put too much
So it's
gel, and I
visible.
got part of it in my eyelash.
Well, hey, at least those eyelashes aren't moving. I can't wait to
I
try it. I
used
was
the
gonna do it tonight too.
I used my Barbie palette. Hold on.
Ooh.
Let me see if I can get it out. Shit. You have got to be kidding me.
I think they have a blue in that Barbie palette, right? It's like a bright blue, if I can recall correctly.
I used that blue
Yes,
and just
that,
put the Pat
yes.
McGrath right
Ooh,
here.
there you go.
Pat
Love it.
McGrath. Whatever that person's name is, I don't know. I don't keep up with the trends. I
Yeah,
just
you got
wear
it
it.
right. You got it right.
It's a pretty blue though. Like I had it like right here and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna look like somebody punched me in my eye. Let me fix that.
Well, that was the thing. People were saying, like, when I first saw it, like, oh, they're afraid to try it because they don't want to look like Mimi from Drew Carey. And I'm like, but if you do the blue right and you do gradual effect, like, it'll look so good. Like, you can't get away from that.
I just did that light blue all the way down, and then I just put it like on my lid right here, and that's it. I didn't even put
There.
eyeliner on because I felt like that was too much.
Yeah. There you go. I love it. I love it.
Mom's probably like,
That's the whole thing.
well, I'm
That's the
glad
whole thing
I
she's
didn't
got
waste
to
my
learn
money.
too. Gypsy's got to learn how to do makeup. She's good with her makeup. She was good with her jailhouse makeup. She always had some good jailhouse makeup.
I
Though they
wish
did
I
give her makeup for some of those documentaries too.
I wish I lived across the street from her. Cause I'm like, girl, I can do your makeup.
Do we know
Like we
where
ain't
she's
gotta tell
living? Do they
nobody.
say that? Do they say where she's living? I did not hear that.
I don't think they disclosed where she's living. I think for her safety. I know she's in
I
Louisiana
hope
though. She might be in New
so. Okay,
Orleans.
good. Well, I hope for her safety they didn't disclose it. Because at least she'll have some kind of a peace in that sense. Though I
But
guarantee TMZ.
I'm like, girl, I got all kinds of stuff over here you can play in. Everything. You can
I
come
think it'll be
anytime. We won't
interesting.
tell nobody.
That's what she should do too. Like show how she cooks, puts on makeup. I'd watch all of that along with all of her other stuff she wants to do on TikTok. I'm there for it. I'm interested to see her growth.
I want to see it. I want to see how she does with society because society is totally different from back in 2015. A lot's changed in
Yes,
8 years.
yes, yes.
And she's
I
probably like,
it's really interesting. It's a big jump. That's even what 8 years. That's a big jump.
yeah, she's coming out here like, oh, they got the iPhone 15 already out? Like, what is this?
We
I
were an
bet when she got
iPhone
her phone, she was like,
5,
what? She's like, this is
right?
fancy.
My God. That's a whole project just learning that in itself. God help me.
That's like a time warp. Can you imagine being in prison for 8 years and like back then it was
Was she
like
in federal? Was she in federal prison? I think she was in state prison.
She was a state, I
Even
think. State.
yeah, even some state prisons, because I know this from what's his face, Ski Mask Andy in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Um, the prisoners are allowed to have like emails, and sometimes they have electronic permission where they can do video calls and stuff like that. So it's not like they don't have the technology in there, it's just a limited technology resource, and if you're paying for it and things like that. So
Yeah, she
she
had a
might,
tablet.
yeah,
She had a
exactly.
tablet.
So she definitely had something to understand a little bit of social media, but not too much.
Yeah. My mom's like, they don't allow you to have cell phones in prison. I said, yes, they do. They allow you to have
Not anymore.
electronic. He's like, what?
Yeah, those prisoners are making TikToks. I've seen them. I've seen them. Thank you, Pat. We love you.
Pat's a
All right,
miss.
let's listen.
I love her.
I love her too.
Don't enjoy.
What's
Yeah.
one thing you've really enjoyed that's surprised you that you've learned?
Well, I love how organized she is. She came in and, already had like half the closet set up for her, but she took it all. And I was like, fine, take it. I don't care. And it's one of those where I love how organized she is. So our kitchen's like the next project. She's going to go in there and make it her own. And I told her from the get-go, like, when you come home, this is your home.
Mhm.
Like, feel free to move anything around that you want, and I will adapt. I'm the man. I'll adapt. You make it your own. And so that's what she's been doing, and it's been great. We were supposed to be in Kansas City for the first weekend she was out, and then plans changed. So
Yeah, what happened there, Gypsy?
So my parole officer, I have two. So my parole officer in Louisiana said, "Yeah, you're good to go to the game. I don't mind you spending a few days in Kansas City. I'm good with that. I won't meet with you until after the holidays." So the day after I get out, and we're having this gathering with my parents and my family and my friends
we
and all
just
this.
got done shopping
We
for
had just
shoes.
yeah,
Like the
we went to the
images and
shoe
shoes.
store.
So people are following us at
Yes,
this time.
yes,
Yeah.
we were hounded by paparazzi. But I got a call, and it was my Missouri parole officer saying, "So are you on your way back to Louisiana?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "We're gonna stay a few days in Kansas City."
I was very skeptical because, like I said, we were being hounded by media. Like, people were following us, and a strange number calls my phone because I was the connection.
Sure.
Mhm.
And I kind of questioned the parole officer at first. I was like, how do we know? Because he answers the phone and he says, "I'm so-and-so. I need to know where you're going and where you're at." And I was kind of like, no,
As
you're
we're
not
being
getting that
hounded.
information.
Right.
No, we got people following us. I'm not telling you where we're going. And
Right.
Gypsy finally had to like calm me down because I raised it up, and then she's like, "Stop! It might actually be him."
Yeah, it
And I
might
was
actually
like,
be him.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I let her take over, and then come to find out it was her Missouri parole officer telling her she had to leave like right then.
Yeah, because he didn't give me permission. The Louisiana one did, but the Missouri one didn't.
Interesting.
And so the Missouri one overruled the Louisiana one.
Wow.
And we have some theories. Some might not be right, some might be good. Yeah,
What-
she's telling me not
what
to
are
say them.
Oh no, we can't share the theories.
Is it more so just like the attention? Like, do you feel like it's your
I think
parole officer was like,
partly it was because of my safety. I really
Yeah.
feel like partly it was because of my safety, because I think that they were aware of how big this was gonna get before it even happened.
I don't
So
know.
they're like,
I don't know.
Ryan
get her
doesn't
back
believe
to
it.
no.
I mean, news got out that we were going to a Chiefs Bengals game.
Yes, it
and
did. Yes, it
It
did.
did.
and you know the rest, right?
Yeah.
Can you picture what I'm saying? Chiefs Bengals game. Who's
I mean, conspiracy theories for sure. I don't under. I think because of the prison that she was in Kansas, I believe that's what she said. And then Louisiana is where she's living, so that's why she has a probation officer in Louisiana, because that's where she will be staying and residing now that she's out of jail. But the prison that she was in, she also has a probation officer from that state as well. And I can understand that. I mean, usually when you get out, you don't necessarily leave that state more than, 80% of the time. So you usually have that probation officer in that state. And if that's how they're doing it, I get it. I don't know about the conspiracy theories though, about the probation officer making her go back and the whole Bengals game. But that's a theory that they have. I'm not too skeptical. I don't think maybe he even knew, but maybe it was for her safety. Maybe they didn't realize it was going to be this big after she got out. I mean, there could be reasons.
Didn't realize. They didn't watch YouTube?
I mean, come on now. Some
Everybody
things
watches
can
YouTube.
get big and some things can go small, and maybe they just didn't predict it. Like, they didn't think it was actually going to get as big as it did.
The
It's
news
like
outlet in
saying, like,
2015 was booming. Like, you don't think
that's
it's big?
true.
Bailey
Well,
Sarian
it's like
covered it.
with the whole Vanderpump though scandal. That thing they didn't think was going to get as big as it did. There's been scandals before and affairs before on Vanderpump, and never did it ever get big that like the White House Correspondents' Dinner is talking about a TV show. Like, it was weird. It was weird. But hey,
She was
it jumped my channel. I
she
don't
was in
mind it.
prison in Missouri, so she has a probation officer in Missouri, but because
Yes.
she was planning on moving to Louisiana with her family, because that's where her family resides, she also has a
Yes.
probation officer in Louisiana. So they had to
Yes.
get not probation, parole. Lord, it's too many P's going on here.
Yeah.
So they have to have someone to be able to drug test her, uh, alcohol, all that stuff, if
Yeah.
she's going to be living
Meet
in a
up with
different state.
her.
She has a little bit
Yes.
more freedom, I guess, as long as she lets them know what she's doing.
Yes, which most have to anyways on parole for the most part. I've never been to jail, but I've been on probation. So,
And the reason why
you know,
Missouri overrides Louisiana is because she was in jail in
in their
prison
state.
in Missouri. That is why it overrides it.
That's where the charges reside. Yes, correct. Correct.
Right.
Yep.
So I ain't crazy yet. I might be a little bit.
TLC, I could totally see TLC offering her a reality show. For sure. Can see TLC in a second. They're always about that life. That's what I like. Listen, I watch TLC, but I'm more of a Bravo girl. Like, TLC is only when there's nothing good on Bravo.
I was watching 90 Day Fiance, so me and Gypsy got something in common. I will sit on the couch with her and binge watch 90 Day Fiance all day. I would
It
not mind.
depends on which 90 Day Fiance, because I can binge watch it. Like I said, if there's nothing good on Bravo, I'll totally binge watch 90 Day Fiance all day. But like today, the movies are Twilight, so sorry TLC, but Bravo got my heart.
Oh Lord.
I got it on right.
Twilight.
I'm still watching.
Are you team
Hey,
Edward
they're
or
making
team
out in the
Jacob?
chapel right now. He's half naked, sexy looking. I'm watching.
Are you team Jacob or team Edward?
I'm team Edward.
Oh,
Yeah.
forget you.
Though I like Jacob.
No, we're
I
breaking
like
up.
Jacob. Don't get me wrong. But how is that not weird? Like, he ended up getting with their daughter. Like, that's a
No,
little
he
weird.
imprinted on her daughter, so that means he's gonna protect her at all
I
costs.
get it. I get it.
It's a
I wish
native
there was more.
thing,
I wish there
wolf
was
thing.
books to the series. I would love to know more. I would love to hear more about their extravagant life together.
I'm team Jacob because he's hot.
I think, put it this way, it worked out for everybody. I mean, he imprinted on something that was Bella had meaning to him in the sense that her child was going to be someone that meant more to life to him, and it worked out in the end. But that's just
I'm team
TLC,
Jacob.
TLC, Twilight, our little Twilight saga.
Taylor
Yeah,
Swift.
yeah.
Taylor
He
Swift.
thinks
I didn't
that-
say it.
All right, well, I will. So he thinks that Taylor Swift is people, not her herself, wanted to protect her because here's the situation. I just want to clarify for a second.
That's right. Tell the
So,
story.
yeah,
baby.
I'm gonna tell the story.
Let's
So,
let them have it.
I just
Clear the air.
Taylor probably will hear this.
Okay, so here's the thing.
She's a big fan.
I am. So
we are too.
okay.
Yeah,
So
she's
about
good.
6 months before I got out of prison, Ryan and I were looking at fun things to do in Kansas City.
Absolutely.
And so he saw that there was going to be a Chiefs-Bengals game, and he's a Bengals fan. He's a Joe Burrow
Joe
fan.
Burrow fan. I
Who's
mean,
your
it's
team?
LSU.
Huh?
Who's your team?
Who's my team? The Saints,
Okay.
the New Orleans Saints.
Who dat?
That's my home team. So anyway, I said, okay, that would be so cool. Let's buy tickets because that would be so much fun to do on New Year's Eve. So we bought our tickets, and then 3 months or so later, I find out that Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce. And so I'm like, that would be so cool if she was at the game and like I got to meet her.
Just happened
Like,
to
just
run into
happened
her.
to run
Like,
into her.
not like
That'd be
we're going
cool.
to find
Right.
her.
It was so like nonchalant. It was just like that would be cool. Because she's my favorite singer. And then TMZ got a hold of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But also TMZ, not to, say anything bad about TMZ, called me a felon. So, I mean, in the article,
Like famous murderers looking
yeah,
for Taylor Swift.
something like
It's
that.
that's
So-
her first
and
thing
the-
she wants to do.
yeah,
Fresh out of jail.
the
great.
comments were like, oh my God, Taylor Swift is in danger. This murderer is going to come after her. And
So
it became this
got
big
blown
thing.
way out of
Yeah.
proportion.
It got blown out of proportion. I'm not a stalker.
So you weren't in any way trying to
Absolutely
do like
not.
a forced meet.
No,
with Taylor
not
or
at all.
anything like
Not at
that.
all. I was
Unbelievable. And this is what happens, though. I mean, clearly there is a chance of her meeting Taylor at this game since she dates one of the players and she's not on tour, things like that. Like, God, people blow shit out of proportion. Hey, I'll say this. When I looked at the Broadway tickets, I was like, what's going to be the best date that potentially I could meet another Vanderpump person that's going to be there to watch Ariana's show?
Yeah, what are the
It's going to be towards
chances?
the
Like,
end.
if I
Right?
go to say like a award show for like the celebrities, for example,
Yeah.
BT, for example, there's a chance I might meet one of like my favorite singer or celebrity. I
Exactly.
don't get starstruck though. I don't be like, oh my God, like trying to break down the fence. But, hey, how you doing? Because they're all humans anyway.
Yeah.
They just got more money. That's all. That's all it is.
I mean, and this is where it's like TMZ made her seem like, oh, this famous murderer is looking for Taylor Swift. Like she's gonna murder Taylor Swift. Are you kidding?
Throw me out the window with that. But
Slapping
yeah, they
labels
had
on
that
the
going. I think I've seen the
Yep.
article.
Oh, I've seen the article. I've seen it. They slapped a label on her like, oh, this famous murderer is looking for Taylor Swift. Like, no, she just has tickets to the game. Doesn't mean Taylor's gonna be there. It's a
Taylor could be
possibility.
going home taking a nap.
I mean, they might have gone to a fight that night. Maybe she didn't want to go watch her boyfriend play. I mean, it's by the Super Bowl, so these are big games too. So people are fucking crazy. What's new?
just like, that
I-
would have been cool if we would have ran into her. It is what it
Honestly,
is.
there's other girls that go to Kansas City Chiefs games hoping that they run
There's
into Taylor.
there's
I mean,
people who are more
cameras point to her during the game, so it's
Exactly.
not
There's
like.
emphasis on
she's
it.
more at danger from her fans than she
Right.
is from
And-
Gypsy.
And
Right,
then
right,
when we found out we had to leave, my first thought was, God, we had so much fun stuff planned. It wasn't just the game;
Yeah.
we had other stuff planned. Like we were going this place called Enchant. It was like where they turn a baseball field into a giant ice hockey rink and with lights everywhere. Like,
Yeah, Christmas lights. It's
Yeah,
this whole
we were gonna have,
Christmas
like, a
winter
romantic
wonderland
thing
thing.
and- but it,
Mhm.
that was the one thing that I was shocked about her getting out is like plans change at the drop of a hat.
Mhm.
So it was one of those where that was an adjustment, because I realized, yes, Gypsy does have to follow rule. Like she's technically still considered property of the state.
Yeah, what
Consider
are your-
she's on parole.
What are your
Right.
limitations?
Okay, so my limitations are no contact with my co-defendant Nicholas Godejohn. Take a therapy, therapy. Then I can't drink alcohol and I can't use drugs, which I don't want to use
Okay.
drugs. So,
Right, right.
and I have to ask for permission to leave the state of Louisiana.
Right.
And other than that, like those are pretty simple conditions.
Okay, yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
Not
no,
bad at all.
it's totally
just,
workable.
we have to do it for a year and a half. But,
Yeah.
when they give advanced directives, we have to follow. So it was
Mhm.
one of those where like we had to leave the state. So it was one of those where we got back home. But it was a blessing in disguise because like I said, she got to organize her home, and we got to spend New Year's Eve together and with her family and her
Mhm.
parents. So it was was wonderful. It turned into a blessing. It really
That's
did.
awesome. Again, you've talked a lot about how important therapy is to you, and I'm getting the impression that regardless of what your parole requires you to do, you're committed to therapy.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, Ryan sees a therapist as well.
Okay.
Because about a year ago, I had asked
you.
him if
Trying to
he
better yourself? Why
There
not,
you
right?
go.
We're
Yeah.
both in therapy.
There you go.
I agree. Therapy is good for everybody. That's good to
Tell me
hear.
I don't
too,
pay
that
attention.
right? Oh, I was like, girl, I was hot. I had to take that beanie off. Whew.
I know it's getting hot up
But
in here.
right, it's that beanie. It's warming your head. But I agree. Like, I think it's a great thing that even without probation, she therapy is good for everybody, and I'm glad that he's in therapy as well, whether he needs it or not. It's always good to have somebody to talk to. Always someone that you can
That's biased.
trust in. And I did see that Roddy said she had trust issues with therapists. I've had issues like that in my past as well. I've had the most amazing therapist in the world, and then he passed away, and it seemed like I could find another therapist like him. And come to find out, one of the therapists that I see now, she actually worked in the office that my therapist that passed away, she worked under him. So it's nice to know that I could find that trust again. There were a couple of people that I had to throw to the curb because it just wasn't working. So my thing is like, don't, if it's not working the first time, keep trying. You will find someone that you can talk to and that will understand, that will listen and have your best intentions and not just be a doctor telling you what you want to hear, kind of a thing. So
Yeah, 'cause
I'm
some
glad
of
to
them
hear
just
that.
there just to write notes and just be there.
Yeah. Or like one of the therapists I had, she was just like, leave it up to God. And listen, I believe in God. Like, I'm not going to leave everything up to God. I need to do stuff for myself. I need to be active in trying to better myself. I can't just leave it up to him. And that was something that I like really just didn't understand with her. That it just everything was just leave it to God, leave it to God. It's like, no, I need to figure out how can I make this better for myself because he's not going to just make it better for me. I'm not going to just leave it up to
Right.
him. So
And
it was like a
it's like, okay, without telling me leave it to God, what do I do? Like,
exactly.
in your humble opinion, read the room, lady. Like, what do I
Right.
do?
You want me just to sit back like this and be like, God, when are you going to do this for me? I'm waiting. You know? No, I got
Like,
a
he's
better
not gonna come down
mindset,
and sit beside you and give you advice?
right? Oh, holy me.
Help me,
He's just
Lord.
gonna come and help me.
Yeah,
But
if
yeah,
that
I'm glad.
happens.
I'm glad that he's doing therapy by himself and with her because it helps him better understand what she went through and maybe like pick up on her triggers because she's never lived with somebody else other than her mother. So she doesn't know what triggers she's going to have yet that maybe he will say or do that will remind her of her mother and how her mother was that might trigger her to have a PTSD trip or just to feel like she's not safe or she's not comfortable. And that's good to be able to have somebody to talk through that with and have a better understanding of what she's going through. So I'm glad
Yeah,
to
her
hear
sister,
that
her
from her.
stepmom don't play about her either.
No, no, her stepmom's amazing. I've only heard great things about the stepmom and everything she's done for her, and I think that's a great thing too. Louisiana is the only state where they still. Oh, really? I did not know that. See, you learn something new every day. All
I
right,
don't
let's
know
see
that
what
word.
else.
I was just
Gotta
gonna
have somebody to talk to, right?
exactly,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. And somebody that's unbiased because
I've
before
heard it
that
before.
we were going to our parents and it was kind of a bad situation because they are biased.
Right.
And so we were getting advice, oh, he's such a whatever, oh, she's such a whatever. I needed someone that
Actually,
he
you
could
went
go
to your parents. I didn't go to mine. But whatever.
yeah, but your mom seems to intervene and on my behalf
I
and
guess she does.
everything.
I guess she
So,
does.
you know,
We're married now. They can do that.
yeah. So I think therapy just kind of helped him acclimate to me because I'm very emotionally taxing for the first year of our relationship, I put you through test after test after test just to see if you'd stay.
Yeah.
I put you through hell.
I used to say that she'd push me off a cliff and then
Yes.
she'd peek over and say, "Are you still
I'd be
there?"
like, I miss
Yeah.
you.
And then-
You know,
Was there ever a moment where you thought to yourself, I don't know if I could do this. I'm not sure if this is the situation for me?
Honestly, no, because like I knew what we had, and that was what I was always fall back on is like, we have it and I'm not going to risk it. It's one of those where I would say you push me off a cliff, but you've seen those people that on a cliff and they nail it in. And I would be like, I'm just hanging out for a couple days. It's no big. And then she'd finally peek over and be like, "You still there?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm right here."
I always
Throw the
come
rope
back.
over.
Yeah,
pull you
yeah.
up.
pull me back up.
I always come
But-
back.
But now that we're married, those moments don't happen. They really don't. Like I think she did that just to see how.
So I found it for you. It says Napoleonic law are a unfiled legal code produced in post-revolutionary France and enacted by Napoleon back in 1804. The laws give Napoleon his name, and they largely remain in place in France today. They have also heavily influenced world laws in the 19th century. The law recognizes the principle of civil liberty, equality before the law, although not for women in the same sense as for men, and the specular of character of the state. So, a lot of word salad, but pretty much it means that they recognize civil liberty and equal rights and all of that before it was actually a law at that point. But Louisiana says it's different than the rest of the United States because let me click the link. I want to see why it's different in Louisiana. I love my little Bing search.
One of my AirPods died.
But though it listens to me, and it was too much. Oh no, I can still hear you, and there's
Yeah,
no
I got
echo
one in.
from what I can hear. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I got one in.
Louisiana legal system is based on civil law, which differs from the common law traditions of other 49 states. In civil law, judges interpret. I scrolled up. Interpret the law directly, while common law judges rely on legal persecution. So they look at what's being interpreted directly toward them than having, okay, well, this is a law that's put in place and this is legally what it says. They're looking at the case in a different perspective where they're interpreting it based on the law of what's happening at that time, if that makes sense to other people. I know law terms, sometimes it gets confusing. I'd have to look more into it myself, but it seems very interesting. And civil liberty and civil rights and civil law, those are all good things to have. Does it work better in Louisiana than other states? That's another question. I'd love to know more. I'll have to ask Law Talk with Mike about it. He's really good with that stuff. And I saw when we were playing Gypsy that he went live. He goes live like randomly and plays like Zoom court cases, and God only knows what mess he's getting himself into right now. But I'm missing it.
Oh,
I'll be watching later on the replay crew. But I always have fun over there.
Much I loved her and see if I was here for the real deal. So
it's a thing people do.
it's a thing people do,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But since we've been married, it's been smooth sailing.
Have you guys ever considered couples therapy? Even though things seem to be
Yeah.
going great, Nally and I, we actively do couples therapy.
Mhm.
We're big believers in being proactive with our relationship. Is that something you two would ever consider, especially given like just the intensity of your relationship and
Mhm.
all the other outside influences that, whether you want it to or not, you two are going to have to deal with? You're going to have to deal
Mhm.
with fans, family, stresses, and for us, couples therapy is just a great way to always check in, to always reconnect. Is that something you guys would be open to?
Oh yeah, I'm good with the couples therapy. I was actually trying to look for a couples therapy therapist um, before I even got out of prison and before we even got married. I was listening to marriage podcast and relationship podcast.
Yes, you
I'd
was.
send him an
Mhm.
episode. I'm like, let's talk about this one and just talk about the topic. How do you feel about that? So I was like doing all of that before we
Mhm.
even got married.
That was
That's
different.
awesome.
That was different. But,
Awesome.
but it was just like, you got to listen to this podcast. And I'm like, yeah, but I really listen to this podcast. You know, I'm just being a guy.
Just giving you homework.
Yeah, homework.
Basically. It was like a book report. No, she's right. Like we're open and honest to the opportunity to do therapy. Like if we ever needed it, you know, this fame thing is so new that it's kind of overwhelmed me in a sorts of like, I didn't realize it'd be as big as it is.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think she'd have 6 million followers on TikTok and Instagram overnight, but
9 million. It is 9.8 million. She's almost to 10 million. That's insane. Insane.
I'd lose my head if I had like millions of subscribers overnight. Like, where did you guys come from? The depths of
Well,
hell?
that was like even with my channel, Meg. I was like, I took 6 months off, and my first video back, which was a Vanderpump video, I got to 1K in like less than a couple hours. And I'm like, what the hell? Actually, the Bunny Gathering DM'd me and he was like, congratulations, I saw that you got to 1K. I was like, wait, I'm at 1K? What are you talking about? And then I couldn't believe just how it like took off. I had 150K views in a week, and I was just like, this is insane. Thank God it didn't blow up. Like, my channel's still small and I like it. Even though I'm at like almost 4K, it's small enough that we just have I have my Vanderpump people, I have my live stream people, and it works very well and I enjoy it. So I'm not happy. I'm glad it's not blown up because I don't know what I would do either. And I don't, I can see where like people can get an ego too. Like, and that's the thing. She needs to take herself back a little bit because 10 million in like a short time, you can get a big ego from that. And I think if she talks with her therapist about it and like she talks with other people about it, I think she'll get through it. And I don't think it'll affect her ego. I think it's something she has to watch out for because of how her mom is or was. Um, it's something that could get to her head and it could affect her mental health and affect all of that. And it's something that she definitely needs to look into and talk to somebody about because it'll get crazy. It gets crazy.
It's gonna like. And that's why I say I hope she takes a break at least from social media for a little while in between, like
Yeah.
trying to figure everything out. Because
Yep.
it can get overwhelming. And think about it, she has to keep up with all those comments, everything,
Yeah.
people messaging her, like it's insane.
Hopefully she gets like a manager. I hate to say it, but she needs a manager to kind of manage it all. And even just like she already has the right perspective on not watching documentaries or things that have been done on her, which will help in the sense of not watching videos that people make about her. Hopefully that will come too with her because that's a good thing she already implies. Because that's people slapping labels on her. People will try to take advantage of her. I believe it. I believe it. There are some probably already taking advantage of her, and she needs to be careful.
All these interviewers, all the interviewers, they're fighting tooth and nail to get an interview with her. Listen, I'm like,
They are.
that would be nice for me to get an interview with her, but I'm not gonna fight tooth and nail for it.
Exactly.
You know, I was like, should I reach out? No, because she's already got people coming from all directions, and I just want her to enjoy her freedom. Like,
Yeah.
know your boundaries. You know,
Yes. Yep.
because that's of course, I don't think I would ask her really any hard hitting questions. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
probably like the easy
Just
stuff.
be very respectful.
Yeah, because I mean, she's already getting the same repetitive questions over and over again.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
And it's like,
That's true.
just ask her how freedom is. How does it feel to be free? quit asking her and making her relive that because she's going to therapy for it. Like, just
One
leave
of
it
the
alone.
things she was talking on TikTok was she got an I Love New York shirt, which was on her bucket list. And I was like, that's a great question. I wonder what's on her bucket list. Like, what's on her bucket list that she wants to do now that she's out? What are some of the things? I would love to hear that. I
And
don't think
these
anyone does.
interviewers aren't asking her that. They're not
No,
asking her what's on her
no,
bucket list. Nothing like,
yeah,
I mean, what he asked was pretty much lightweight stuff, but
It's one of those things where,
well,
she's always been worried that I was,
you
goddamn
just
know,
headphones.
rude.
Well,
You
I
just
touched my
rude.
headphone and it started.
But there,
I
but you
didn't
know what I
expect
mean?
that.
Like, he's not asking real hard hitting questions, but he's still making her live through that time again.
Yeah,
I
yep,
want to know what your interests are. Give you advice about the best palettes to get, of course. What works?
yep.
Like, because she hasn't had a chance. Like, to me, I feel like this is her first time ever having makeup on, playing in her hair,
Yep.
doing stuff, girly
What
stuff.
things she should go try? Like, should she go try zip lining? Should she go,
I wouldn't try zip
I
lining
don't
or jumping
know.
out of a helicopter. Are you crazy?
I would love to go zip lining. Oh my God, through the jungle. I saw what those housewives do.
Mm-mm.
I would love to do that. Go off a rope swing into this clear blue lake. I'll take it.
Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'll be over there screaming in terror. No, because I don't
Well,
trust those zip
it's like,
lines.
well, what? Go to the. You could be like the person. I just want to go to the Bahamas and lay in the white sand with the blue water. You know what I mean? That could be on a bucket list. Like, I think she would totally enjoy something like that. She liked Florida when she was a kid. I do remember that from when she went to Disney and all of that. She enjoyed Florida very
But she only
much.
went to Disney. That was it. Disney.
I know, but she still enjoyed Florida. She was a Disney fanatic, so I mean,
She had no
I've loved
choice.
Disney too. I
She had no
know,
choice
that's
but to
true.
love Disney
Yeah,
stuff.
that's true.
She didn't get to watch these shows she gets to watch now. She's probably like, oh, this looks interesting. I've never seen this. Can you imagine?
I know. And all the new things that have come out too. She has
Yeah.
a lot, a lot. Just to sit back and stay home and watch movies, that right there will be great for her too. Take some time away.
Yeah, she needs a break after all these interviews. She needs a nap.
You're, you're afraid of heights. I'm okay with heights for the most part. For the most part. If it's high up there, I might have a fear then. We'll
I
see.
did a
But
slingshot ride one time and never again. That was my one and
where they
done.
they slingshot you up in the air, right? And it's
And then
like
it
100
flips. No, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. No,
I
I don't
screamed
think
in
I could do.
terror. I
No,
was
I wouldn't
crying.
do that. I would zip line 100 feet off the ground where I'm harnessed in. I would totally do that. I
Not
was a rock climber
jungle.
for a while too, so
Imagine the
I did the
snakes.
rock climbing.
Imagine the snakes in the jungle, Jackie.
Yeah, see, I'm not trying to think about those things.
They're in the tree.
That's
They climb.
true, though. I don't want to hear that.
The
I want
snakes
to
and the
forget about that.
crocodiles and everything else.
Oh my
No.
God. I don't like snakes. I
And
hate
those
snakes.
big
There's a
birds
snake that
too.
lives outside, and I don't like it either. Oh, the
Mm-mm.
birds. Oh my God, those birds will eat you alive. I'm okay with like I've been around bald eagles in Maine when we fed the bald eagles. Those birds are freaking huge.
Yeah.
But they didn't come near us. We threw the fish and they came and
Mm-mm.
they swooped down and grabbed it off the ice. Good enough
One
for me.
night I was driving home from getting food. Like, we went out to eat that night. Kid
Yeah.
you not. There was an owl sitting on someone's fence and he looked directly at me. I was like, was that a fucking owl? Yeah, like, it was weird. I was like, wait a second. I go back by that house the next day. He's not there. So I'm like, yeah, that was a damn owl. It was an
Was a
owl.
fucking
I seen an
owl.
owl. And he turned his head
Oh my
completely
God.
around and looked at me. I'm like,
That's funny.
no,
I
sir.
know, I know we have two owls in our neighborhood because I can hear them outside. But where they are, I have no idea. And if I was to see them, I'd probably freak out. I'd probably
They're
be
huge
intrigued
too.
too.
They're big.
Yeah,
They're big birds.
they're big birds,
There's a bald
huge.
eagle. There used to be a bald eagle around here somewhere too. They're beautiful.
Oh, They are. They're so beautiful. And they're really big though. Like they could take you out with a peck or two, I swear. I'd be afraid of them.
I'll take them out with
They
a
ever
bullet or
got
two if they try me.
yeah, do what you gotta do on that factor.
I think it's
I
illegal
just
though. I think that's
yes,
illegal.
because they're endangered. Yeah. I mean, if they're
Yeah.
attacking you, there's got to be a law for that. But I don't know how that goes. I'm not into that portion
Yeah,
of
if they're
law.
sitting there picking my eyeballs out, somebody shoot the bird. And I'll
I'm pretty
apologize
sure.
later.
I'm pretty sure. Then you can do what you got to do. But I don't take advice from me. Look up the law. Oh my gosh.
And Pat
All right,
said
let's
she
see what
could
else.
say no. I'm afraid she's going to get a big head and a big ego. Just my opinion.
That's what I'm. I don't want that for her. I think where she is now is a great place, and I just don't want that for her. I wish her
Maybe,
the best.
yeah, maybe therapy will help her. She is in therapy, so
Yeah.
maybe she can get good advice from. Because you gotta think about it. Therapists watching YouTube too. So
Oh, they're
all these.
watching everything. They're watching her interviews. They're watching definitely what she's doing.
Yeah,
If
so
they're a good therapist.
maybe
If they're a good therapist.
I hope
Especially
so.
like especially a celebrity like I hate to say it, but like her status, they should definitely be wanting the best for their patient, knowing
Yeah,
that
so
she's been through a lot.
maybe she'll work on it, and maybe somebody can like interview her, but ask her about her instead of asking about the past.
I agree.
That would be nice.
That'd be awesome.
Then I know what makeup's
I think
in
she
her.
needs some time too out of jail. But it's like she hasn't at this point. This was on the 9th. This interview happened, which was really probably the 8th or the 7th that it was recorded, because there was a couple of days in between. So what day did she do Good Morning America? It was the same day. Good Morning America.
I think she did it the
My
same
point is that
day.
she wasn't out of jail though for that long. That what was
That
she
lady
to say
really
that she had
irked my
done? She
nerve.
had gone shopping. Oh my God. Yes. That was like the one interview I did not like.
That
I
was when
believe
that
it was
lady
the
called her a
7th.
murderer
I'm gonna look it
in her face.
up.
That's what that interview is.
It was the 5th. It was the 5th. Yeah. That lady really was. If you want to see a bad interview, Good Morning America, Gypsy Rose.
Yeah. That lady, I would have punched her.
Gonna
And
leave
walked
for the
out.
fame, because of it, because of past relationships. And
Mhm.
I've told her that I'm not going
Oh yeah,
anywhere.
me
Like
too.
we'll
Me
work through
too.
whatever we need to work through.
You're her rock.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm here for the long haul. Like I'm till death do us part. I mean that. I mean that.
That
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah.
One thing we learned in couples therapy, and it is something when we were watching on the way to do the interview that Natalie reminded me. You talked about Ken. Obviously you needed to tell Ryan that you spoke with him. Obviously
Mhm.
that was an omission. That
Mhm.
is a lie that you told.
Right.
But the dream part, sometimes Natalie we have gone through this too. It's just like we always want to be honest. We want to tell each other everything. And I've been like, that's like, all right, babe. I was like, I had this dream and I did this thing, and she's just like, what the fuck are you like? What is going on? And it's just like we learned in couples therapy. It's just like, yeah, you can be honest,
Mhm.
but sometimes you can you don't have to be honest with every thought you have.
Okay.
As to not trigger your
Yeah.
partner, where it's just like,
Mhm.
well, okay, you had a dream, but do I need to worry about your dream? Like, what is going
You're
on?
right.
Like,
You're right. You're
Have
right.
that trauma trigger.
Not to
just-
offer you guys
Yes,
unsolicited
yes.
advice, but it
Right.
was something that we stuck with.
Mhm.
That stuck with us, because you can do that. Like in that effort of wanting to be open and transparent, and like especially for you, is like you've made this considered effort to be like, I want to be honest. I want to be a truthful person, and to just want to pour everything out. But like sometimes it can help to just be like, I probably didn't need to know
Right.
that.
Didn't need to know that. It's funny that
It's
you.
happened before.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's happened a time or two.
before. Yeah.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because being open and honest. The day that I got out of prison, Ken texted my stepmom and
Ooh, I
was
don't
like,
like
"Hey,
him at
what's up?" And
Stop.
she told me about it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh, so now he wants to come around." And so I told Ryan about it. I was
Yeah.
open, and I'm like, he's sniffing around.
Why do you think he decided it's time to pop back up?
Because I think now I'm free, and I don't think that he has respect for my marriage.
Well, he doesn't like me because I've called him names. Like I have, he's known as something that to me.
yeah.
I don't see why you should like him.
Yeah, I, don't
Yeah.
know, I call him
Yeah.
a dumb mother.
Yeah.
So every
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
every
You
time
can
that
swear on
like
this podcast.
Oh,
he's,
yeah.
he's reached out to me before
Has he?
because actually
Bold.
Gypsy has like asked me to text him like, hey, we're married now. Text him because like
He still
apparently
has my stuff.
he has
Like he has
stuff of
stuff
hers
of
that he,
mine,
like,
like old
holds.
pictures and stuff
Like,
that I
things
sent to him to hold on to
like because they
until
were
I got
together
out.
for a long
things
time.
you want to get back, or
Yeah, things I wanted. Like I bought along my time. I was like, "Oh, this is so cute in this clothing magazine. I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna send it to your house. And then when I get out, you can give it to me." And so I've asked him to just ship my stuff to my stepmom, and then I can get it from her. And he's like, "No, I still have all that stuff, but like,
You can come get it.
you can come get
Yeah,
it."
like he's holding
I'm like,
her stuff
"No."
hostage, and I just think he's a dumb motherfucker. I'm part of my language. I just don't like
So
him.
Well,
bad.
and period.
So
Preach, yeah, that's how
I mean,
I kind of agree. Like, why are you holding on to her stuff? Like, you really didn't, like, you had a connection with her, like, emotionally, but not physically. Why are you holding on to her stuff? Like, does he find, like, there's hope there, maybe? Maybe he thinks he's gonna get back with her?
He saw all the
I mean, I
attention.
hate to say it,
He saw all the
right?
attention.
I think Ryan did the right thing by texting him and being like, "This is my wife. Like, respect the
If you
relationship."
don't leave my wife alone, you gonna mess around and find out.
Right? Send her goddamn shit back. Shit
Like,
she said
just
she bought it herself. Like, send her shit. It's not shit
and
you
she
bought
probably
her.
thought she was gonna be with this man and marry him, so that's probably why she had it
Yeah.
sent to his house instead of her stepmom's. I would have sent it to my stepmom's anyway,
Yeah.
to be quite honest.
Yeah. She didn't know any better either. I mean, that was her second relationship, if you want to think about it.
Yeah, her
I didn't know
second
shit
act.
on my second relationship. Let's be honest. Like,
How the
that
hell
was
do you
a
get?
rebound relationship at
Roddy
that
mom has a
point.
question. She's wondering how they
Yeah.
purchase stuff from prison.
Well, if they have a job, they make money and they have the tablets. They do. So they can go onto some websites. It's all being monitored and things like that. Or she could have said, "I like this from this magazine that I saw." And, he might have her account information to be able to buy it for her. I'm not quite sure. That's a great question. She said that she saw it and she bought it and she got it sent to his house. So I'm assuming it was on her end, everything. And I know Coley had a question too.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "Do you think that she's an unaliver, or because she didn't technically commit the act, she's not one?" I think she's an accessory to murder. I don't think
Yep.
she's an actual murderer. She didn't physically perform the act. She was an accessory to the crime, which is
She
just as
didn't.
bad in my opinion.
Again, she didn't know any better. She didn't know her resources. Had she known her
Yeah.
resources, like she said in this interview, she'd be like, I'd go with, someone actually helping me, as
Yeah,
opposed
yeah.
to doing that. But what if
And
her
Nick
mom
didn't know
tracked her
any better
down too,
either.
though?
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, she lived in a fantasy reality, like princesses, that some guy was gonna swoop her off her feet and make everything better. Like, she lived in that reality. That's all she knew. And Nick had his own issues going on that he actually fantasized about things like that from what everything was said. And he had his own mental issues going on that maybe he got enticed by what she needed and it allowed him to play out those thoughts that he was having, and it's not good. No one should be murdering anybody, period.
Well,
But
see, his parents, if you look at the interview with his mom, the interrogation interview with his mom, she said,
yeah,
he's never done anything violent, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you should have monitored him on the internet before it did get
yes,
that far. Because he's autistic. He has a mind of a 15-year-old.
yes. And he
My
was
grandma
saying
had
things
my
like,
computer like in the kitchen. In the
yeah,
kitchen.
our home computer, which was all we had, was in the dining room, which was next to the kitchen. Like, there was always someone right there. always.
Yeah. If she knew he had all these issues going on, I think she should have monitored him a lot more before it escalated.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my dogs
Roddy,
have
I don't
like
care about it.
issues.
No, I don't care that if this is monetized or not. I really don't. Because honestly, they might just unmonetize it for the fact that I'm playing Viall, even though I've transformed the video and all of that. YouTube has been giving people a lot of issues with that are commentary channels, and it's playing people's content, and they're like at the point where they don't want anything to do with it. Even if it is fair use, they don't care. YouTube does not want any part of it, though they need to protect their people that work for them, the people that are making the money, the people that are content creators, and the fair use guidelines. Like it's there's a lot happening, a lot. So honestly, I don't care because they'll probably say that I am demonetized and the money goes to him anyways. So whatever. And he's saying murderer too. Whatever. We're saying it. I don't care. Fuck it.
No breathe.
I mean, I don't like. I mean, I call him that because how would you leave this wonderful woman? I mean, I'm thankful that he did because I'm with her now, and like,
but also him keeping your stuff hostage. That's a classic shady move.
It's a shady move.
You can get new stuff, Gypsy.
I am. I mean, I got all new stuff, better stuff.
Those hoodies, those shirts, they're replaceable.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I
feel like, if he's sniffing around to try and like break me and Ryan up or see if I will leave Ryan to get back with him, this is how I feel about it. If you're not going to be there at my worst, you do not deserve me at my best.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you know anything about Gypsy's Instagram and you've seen the recent comments, she's not going anywhere.
I'm fine.
It turns out the D is fire.
The D is fire.
Come and get it, baby.
He's missed his chance. It is what it is.
But like, how fire?
Oh, so fire. So fire.
And did you come and get it?
I did.
Yeah, she did.
That is so funny.
It was one of those where like she made that comment. I was reading my phone. She made a comment. I'm like, whoa. And then I was like, fine, you know what? I'll go back. And then all of a sudden it was like our phones were down.
And now it's all over everywhere. I've been asked about it all the time. All my comments are the D is fire. I'm like, oh my God.
Did you see someone took the liberty of editing in what would look like Taylor Swift and Travis having the same conversation?
No.
I'll show you when we're done. It was kind of, and someone's like, is this real? And they're like, no, it's Gypsy and Ride.
Did you see those memes? Have you there's just, I'm sure, so much that you have but everyone was doing these countdowns before you got out.
Really?
And it was you, and it was like the prison bars rising, and it was to like, yeah, I'm a cunt. Yeah, I'm a cunt. I'm a cunt. It was like hyping you up. It was so funny. And it was just every day there was a new one with a countdown.
Well, we had our own countdown.
Yeah, we did.
I wouldn't create until a year out. So it was one of those Gypsies like, do it now. We're married. I'm like, no, babe, we got like 400, 500 days. I'm like, when we get to 365, we'll count it down. So, it was kind of strange watching it hit 50 and then 30 and then boom. And then it was, I still can't believe that she's been out 7 days, and it's been probably the best 7 days of my life.
That's incredible. You guys are married. You've talked about wanting to do another ceremony to kind of do this, the ceremony that you truly want. What are some things that you want at your wedding that you didn't get to have at your original one? And is there a honeymoon that you guys hope to plan? And where would you want to go?
Okay, so
great question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I definitely am excited about the dress.
Yeah, every girl needs that white dress moment, right? And
I
Gypsy
need the cake.
Yeah.
I know is a good dressmaker.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
She's already got an idea of what she wants.
Yeah,
like,
the
it was
style
funny.
and everything.
Somebody asked her what she wanted, and she like hit it perfectly. And I was like, I've been thinking about it a lot. Okay, I wasn't ready for that. But yeah, we want to do it. We want to try to do it as close to our anniversary as possible.
What is that anniversary?
When is that?
July 21st, we got married. So July 21st, 22. You look online, everybody says June 22nd or whatever.
Yeah, there was so much speculation.
So,
it's awesome that you know that. Nick, when did we get engaged?
Oh, it was 1/12/23.
Very good. Very
nice.
good.
It took
He
a
hit you
minute.
with
It
that.
took a
though.
minute.
No, I only remember
I
because it's
get
like
that
it's a
one.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I crushed
So
that
good.
engagement though. So
Did you?
Awesome.
yeah, we I did a whole thing.
Well, I had to do my.
I'll give Mick that. He did crush the engagement. If you've never seen
I
the
didn't see
engagement
it.
of ooh, he crushed it. He did. I mean, he's
What
a
did he do? Blow
bachelor.
fireworks, light up arrows, light up words? Like,
No,
what did he
if
do?
he actually he just swept her off her feet. She didn't expect it at all. So it was like a shock for her that he was even getting down on one knee. Though she like knew that it was gonna happen, she didn't think it was gonna be that moment. Forget where they were. It's on his podcast. I'll have to find the episode and link it. It's pretty good. He talks about it. But I'll give it to him. He was very romantic. It was like a Travis Barker, fucking Kourtney Kardashian kind of ceremony with the flowers and
You
the
said Kardashian.
candles and well,
They get on my nerves.
Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker, that's a whole engagement in itself. That was done on the beach in Santa Monica, I believe it was, or down that way. And it was beautiful. He did like a heart around all the flowers and candles around the heart and on the beach. It was a big thing. Then like her whole pregnancy announcement, that was done at the concert. So, they're all about that spotlight.
Yeah. I don't think I want to announce anything.
No.
No.
I'll let you guys know, but I don't know. I might announce it to YouTube. I wouldn't want to give my haters the benefit of the doubt of fucking knowing. Just like all the shit that they talk, like even like when am I gonna have a child? Like, bitch, this is my motherfucking body. Who the fuck are you? You think I'm gonna tell you what's happening with my ovaries? No, thank you.
No, thank
Go
you.
fuck yourself.
No.
Tara's like, but she's like 40. No, I'm not 40, honey. I'm 36. The same age my mother fucking conceived me. It's not fucking old ass age to have a child. Like, sorry, I'm not like a preteen or a teenager having a baby. Sorry, I got your hopes and dreams up there. Sorry, I wasn't
Didn't
like
Kim
you.
Kardashian have a baby at like 40? 40 something?
Yeah, she was like 39, almost 40 at that point.
Like, you should be a grandma right now, not having a
But
baby.
technically, it was like surrogacy. That one. That was the surrogate. I think she was 37 though. I'd have to check that. Don't fact
Oh,
check
but I
me.
love that North. She's hilarious. I love that North because she don't care.
Kim Kardashian age when she had North. Let's see. She was 32, so she was in her 30s. Same difference. People.
I went ahead and got it out the way, like in my 20s, and
Yeah, right. I'm really married to Jake and I have no fucking clue. I just don't wear a ring. Like, who knows? I could be hiding it from all of you.
hide it all.
No, I tell you guys. That'd be a membership now. It'd be a membership video.
Hey, everybody,
It
let's
would
do
be
a
it would be an
Wait, when was
Instagram
Jackie
video.
pregnant?
It was like Paris Hilton, where she had a surrogate, but no one knew that she even had a surrogate and that she was even had a baby in the process. All of a sudden, it was like, here's Paris with her new son. It was like, what?
When
I
were you
remember
pregnant,
that.
sis?
Yeah, she couldn't even tell her mom because her mom was doing, which Kathy Hilton has a big mouth, so I get it. Her mom was doing interviews saying, well, they're trying and it's just not working. And she's like, not working, I'm doing IVF and like there's a baby on the way. She's like, I just couldn't tell my mother because she would go and tell everybody. And it's like when you're that kind of famous, like I get to do what you have to do, like, but hey, it might have to be the same for me. These people care too much.
What you got to do?
Exactly.
And
You crushed yours, man.
man, I did mine in prison, and she ended up getting in trouble for like 30 days. She couldn't call me. Yeah,
I did. I got phone restriction because I
Yeah.
smuggled in a ring.
I smuggled in a ring, like, and they almost
No.
banned.
But I would like
They
from
almost
love.
banned me.
Exactly.
They almost banned me for 6 months for it. Yeah. because like you can't give contraband, but like I
Right.
wanted to ask her to marry me with a real ring.
Mhm.
You know, it was one of those
Yeah.
where, and then she wore it and they saw it during photos and, you know, they didn't think anything of it. They didn't end our visit, but it was funny. I had the engagement ring and then like, you know, it came with a wedding band. So I put the wedding band on my chain and on the way out, she was like, can you take your chain off? And I was like, for what? You know, like in my head, I'm like, why? And then I showed her and she was like, okay, did you give Gypsy a ring? And I'm like, no, of course not. This ring's my grandmother's. I would never. And she said, well, that's funny because the ring we confiscated looks just like that wedding band that's on your chain.
Like,
And finally she was like, come clean. I was like, yes, I did. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it.
it was for
I
love.
was like, I love her. And then she was like, thank you for being honest. Look, you won't get in trouble. But later, you know,
We can't do
it's funny.
that.
She called me after we left. She's like, hey, baby, yeah, they got my ring. But like, you know, everything was good. And then I was like, baby, let me tell you what happened. And she was like, what'd you say? What'd you do? And I was like, baby, I didn't do anything. And then later she got in trouble like a week later.
Yeah.
You talked a lot in the documentary about, and you referenced earlier that you really put him through it, and that you know, you can push and you can be reactive sometimes. Where are you guys now with that, and how have you worked through that issue?
Well, I definitely am not as reactionary as I used to be. Because we're able to actually be in the same room. We're able to touch. We're able to hug. I was just so insecure while I was in prison. I'm like, there's no way he's going to stay. There's no way he's going to stay. Something's going to F it up. And I'm going to F it up because I'm just not going to do this right. And I was trying to like not make the mistakes I did with Ken. But he's not Ken. And
Not at all.
Not
Way
at all.
better in every aspect.
And so,
You're in
my
dumb
humble
motherfucker.
opinion. You know he's listening.
You know,
Yeah.
he's probably
Yeah.
listening
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. And I was just so afraid. So I was trying to hold on too tight, but at the same time, I'm like, let me just test the waters. And I have this push-pull problem. And I've done that in all my relationships where I push someone away, but I'm like, leave me alone, but no, come back. I really
You
didn't
want
mean
him
it.
to like fight and
Yes,
chase you.
fight.
Yeah.
Because I'd fight.
And those are issues that stem from her mother. Yeah, it's the beanie. It's the beanie, dude. Why do you think I got like a redness on mine too from wearing the beanie?
I think I'm
Hers
forming
is
a
like
rash
15
here.
years old though. How long? You need to wash that thing.
No, I don't. It's been in a drawer.
That's true. This thing
I
though,
think
this
it
thing
stinks.
makes me itch. I don't know if it's like the stitching on
It
the
doesn't
inside.
stink. It just smells like
I
drawer.
got this one for Christmas. My future sister-in-law got it for me.
It's not
With
15
gloves
years
that match.
old. I got this when I was 18. It's 10 years old.
Oh, mom was wrong. Mom said
18 or
15.
19. It was about 18 or 19 when I got it.
It,
There was
it
another
reminds
one
me
that
of
I really liked. It had triangles on it, and it was
the
reversible.
Arian hat. Ooh. I
I
have
don't know where it's
beanies
at.
probably in storage still to this day. I have a
I
lot
need to
in
be put in
storage.
storage.
Girl, I got way too much in storage. I gotta go through it. It's like it's one of those things. It's 2 years now in storage. Like I've kind of forgotten about it, but I know there are things in there that I want that I need to get out. So I know it's not gonna be fun though either. That's the problem. That storage unit is packed, packed to the
What are you,
brim.
hoarders?
So no, it's all. So we went from one apartment that wasn't furnished to another apartment that still had my furniture in it from when I lived in there previous. Um, and so I had a lot of stuff that I already had. So it was like, let's put this away and we'll figure it out later. And still haven't figured it out. It's like no time to figure it out. And let me tell you, moving that shit was a fucking hassle. So I'm trying to like prolong having to move any furniture. Okay? And I fell off the loading dock. Like I almost sprained my ankle. It was a fucking fun time, people. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting a little bit. Just a little
I'm
bit.
procrastinating. I have my kids' room to
That's what
clean,
it
and
is.
I'm like, this is Satan's lair here. I'm scared.
Well, it's like we're like either gonna buy a house or we're gonna buy this house. So like we'll have the in-law apartment with the entire house, which is in itself, it's a 3-bedroom house, 2 bathrooms, huge ass dining room, den room, patio. We have 2 different patio screened in porches. Um, the kitchen's fucking huge. Like this house is huge. So regardless, it'll fit all my shit and then some. It's just what are we gonna do? Because like, do we really want to stay in the city? Probably not. Like, I love where I live. Don't get me wrong. I'm right on the water. I love where I live. I've lived here my whole life. But do we really have like a big backyard? No, we don't. And I want land. I want not my neighbor up my ass like 2 feet away. Like, so it's what are we gonna do? It's like so we buy this house and then in a couple years then we buy a house like in the woods. So we have this house that we can rent out or, do whatever we need to do with it. We're figuring it out. So,
I
but
live in
right
the
now I'm
woods, and
content.
whoever's running that truck in my yard, I'm gonna throw them out the window. I'm gonna go give them a good
See?
cursing out.
But see, that's things I don't even notice. Like I have airplanes going off every 10, 15 minutes and the turbojets, you guys can hear them. I sit here like, oh, I didn't even know that was going off because I'm just so used to it. But they're
Somebody's got
loud.
a truck, and they're
It's
about to have the
louder than it's
dog
supposed to
start
be.
up.
When these turbojets go off, when they're going down that runway and putting those turbojets on, those things are louder than a motherfucker. But
Mm.
I'm so used to it. I've lived by the airport my whole life, so the noise soothes me. And that's something my dad and me have talked about because he was always a country guy. And he's like, now the silence gets to me because he's like, if I hear something, then something's wrong. Where like before, if he heard something, it was, we're in the city. Like you're gonna hear stuff. You could hear trains, you can hear planes, you can hear the highway, you can hear, everything, and then some. The boats coming into the harbor. So for me, it's a soothing. If I don't have noise, then there's a problem. And even staying with my parents in the country, it was awkward to hear silence and not hear traffic. And definitely a city girl, but I can deal with the country. It's just going to take adjusting, just a little bit of adjusting. I'm going to have noise somehow. Like even when my TV goes off at night, I wake the fuck up. So I need to have the TV on at night. Like that's how bad it is for me. So I get it. But anyways, back to Gypsy.
Yeah.
I'd fight for the relationship.
Absolutely.
So I want my partner to fight for me
Oh,
too.
yeah.
And so, unfortunately I put him through a lot of tests.
I
But
passed each one with
yeah,
flying colors.
every single one, but I
Aces
don't do that
only.
anymore.
No,
like,
she really doesn't.
I
She really
don't do
doesn't.
that
We're
anymore.
married now.
We're
It's
married, we're
different.
comfortable, we're sound, we are perfect.
Did
Yeah.
it change once you got married or more so once you got out and you were able to
Out.
be
Out.
together?
I think
know,
you got out.
I don't know. I'd say, we had a moment.
Mid moments.
We had moments after we got married. Gypsy, I think the walls caved in on her at one point, and she thought, "Holy shit, I'm really married." Because just we got married, and then 4 months later, it was like, "Oh God, I'm really married."
That's when the annulment story happened.
That's when that came out.
Well,
and-
can you? I'm not even familiar with
Oh, you're
that
not
one.
familiar? Okay,
No.
Well,
so-
like if you look online, it says
It's all
that It's
online.
like now it's probably not because they see
Yeah.
us together, but
I'm
right
sure
there
there
for
would
a
be.
while, people thought that we got our marriage annulled. And Gypsy wrote an email like in the thick of the moment. And it's like, I think we're gonna have to get an annulment and send it to a friend. And a friend posted it.
Right.
And
They
then-
shared it.
And then
so.
during that argument, I surprised visitor because I live in Louisiana and I had to drive 13 and a half hours.
Oh my
Mhm.
So I surprised her, and then we worked it out right then. Like the moment she saw me, she was like, "I don't want to get a no. I love you. I don't want to do this." And so people ran with that story. So that was like 4 months into our marriage. We've been married what, a year
A year and a half.
year and a half. So we've been solid, pretty good ever since that moment. But that one moment made people think we got divorced, and you'd see comments, "Oh,
Sure.
they're divorced, they're husband," but not
Yeah.
anymore. Obviously not.
Yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. And it was very interesting. So, I know that You were on The Bachelor,
Mhm.
and this guy that was
Oh, we heard.
you heard about it?
I've never met him. I don't think
Okay.
he's well.
Yes, obviously not. And so when
I called him something bad.
I had a friend reach out to me and it's like, if this guy reaches out to you, he is just going to use you for clout. Just know that. And then that night, he sent me an email saying like, hey, I'm a famous reality star. And
Look at me.
look at me. I want to hit you up. And I'm like,
He was posting on
hell
his
no.
Instagram that they were already talking.
yes, that
and
we
he was
were
coming to
already
visit.
in a relationship.
And I was like, dude, that's my wife, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And he
Like-
said he was going to come to visit me. So I immediately was like, and he even got on my visiting list. I was so freaked out by it. I went back to
Like,
the
he went
caseworker and
that
I was like, I
crazy
have a
with it.
stalker. I
Yeah.
need you to get him off my visiting list now. Like, I don't know this man. He's just someone that is trying to use me for fame. All right, we need to shut.
Insane. How did he get on her visitors list? That's creepy as fuck.
Listen, somebody.
Creepy.
That's some
And he was on The
stalker
Bachelor.
shit.
Who? See, I don't watch The Bachelor, but I know I know Nick. I'm gonna have to look that up. That's very interesting. I need to know who this man is so we can like make sure other people stay away from him. Wow, creepy.
This down now.
You know what's funny is I used to not do social media at all. So like Gypsy tells me the story. I'm like, where's he posting this
Oh,
stuff?
yeah,
She said
Instagram.
Instagram. And I was like,
He
okay.
didn't even
and
have
I
an
was
Instagram
creating
account.
an Instagram account and I let him have it immediately. So when people say, you know, before, oh, he just married Gypsy for clout, I didn't even have social media.
Mhm.
You know, if that tells you anything, like I would be like, look at me,
Right,
I'm
right.
married. I didn't even have a social media until he showed up
Mhm.
and tried to claim something. So
Mhm.
Did he respond to you?
no, he never responded
No,
to
he
me, but he
blocked you.
later,
Blocked you.
yeah, he blocked me, and then
Mhm.
later was like, Brian sent me threatening voicemail. I'm like, no, I didn't.
No,
I told
you
you
don't
to
know his
leave my
number.
wife alone, you panty wearing douchebag. That's what I
Yeah.
called him.
That's it.
Because every picture he's wearing is I was just so mad at that moment. But I was like,
Yeah.
leave my wife alone. Keep my wife out your my wife's name out your mouth.
There you
What was
go.
your favorite Bachelor season?
I don't
Trick question,
remember.
trick question, trick question,
God.
trick question.
It's okay, I'm
I
just
don't
kidding.
remember. That's been so
She's like
long.
Ben Higgins.
She's like Ben Higgins for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Trick question.
We love pop culture. We talk a lot about on the show.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you a fan of anything? Do you watch any Housewives or did you know about Scandival?
No.
Nope, that's okay.
I don't know that.
You didn't know about that.
She's got a
What,
lot of catching up to.
Yeah.
do.
What
Yeah.
what are you a fan of other than like, obviously Taylor,
Okay.
Ariana Grande?
Uh-huh.
What are you into right now?
I'm
The
into,
people you
yeah,
know.
I love 90 Day Fiance.
Oh,
So good.
Okay,
Yeah,
you love
like me
that.
some 90 Day Fiance. I like Married at First Sight.
Okay,
That's
you
a
like
good
those
one.
TLC
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, I like the
Okay.
TLC and things like that. You know, I'm not super big into reality. But I think that over the course of a couple years ago, I just kind of fell off from watching a lot of TV. So I have like one show or two shows a week
Mhm.
that I dedicate my time because I've spent the last 3 years talking to my husband for hours at a time. And even my former roommates were like, Gypsy can't watch a show. Like she just literally, she's like in the middle of it. I got to go call Ryan. So,
You know, but right before she got out, I was realizing she was spending I was spending $350 a month on phone time.
Mhm.
So,
Wow.
you know, just to talk to this beautiful woman. So it's one of those now that she's out, I'm like, yeah, save money. But then
Now-
my people are like, but you're not
not
going to really
really.
save money. I'm
right,
like,
right.
and I can already see, yeah, that was a mistake to say that.
Yeah.
But
well,
She was
she's
buying
worth
her
it.
shoes.
Yeah, she's worth it. It's no biggie.
Now Ryan has some hobbies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what
he
are
has
they?
some interest. Go ahead, tell him
What-
your
No,
interest.
Speak up.
I think
Come on,
everybody
man.
knows I'm a wrestling fan. Like, you
Yes.
see my license plate. That was a thing.
He's a huge WWE fan.
Yeah, I'm a huge wrestling fan, so I get clout. I
That's
get
men's
picked
soap
on.
opera.
Yeah.
I'm not into it anymore. I was as a kid, but I have buddies of mine who are super fans.
You
So
liked it as a
I
kid?
get
Who'd
it,
you like
yeah.
as a kid?
Oh, it's like Macho Man, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, the classics.
I was a
like
Bret Hart guy.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
I was a Bret Hart guy.
Oh
my
So
gosh.
like
Yeah.
the license plate that I picked her up in said Hitman Bret Hart, where everybody's like, oh, the Hitman's picking Gypsy up. I'm like,
Oh, geez.
come on, grow
Oh,
up,
man.
people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are you still a teacher?
Yes, I am.
You are.
I am. I am on like a 2-week leave right now,
Okay.
so I can get
You a big
Gypsy
history
home
buff?
acclimated. I have a history degree, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my degree is.
What's your favorite part of history.
I love World War II, like right before, like 1919,
Sure.
Treaty of Versailles, and then World War II, and then like what happened immediately after. Like I love Cold War stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could probably. I'm a big fan of history myself.
Right
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Right on.
Mhm.
And there was something I liked about you.
I have a few more questions for.
So is Megz, and if you like history, you gotta check out her channel because she loves history, spooky things with some makeup mixed in between.
And we just don't call spirits over there. So if you're looking
No,
for
no
that,
spirit calling.
go over to wherever they do that crazy mess. Cause no, I'm not. No,
I'll hook
we
you
don't
up
read
with somebody.
spirits.
Her name is Empress. She does all the tarot card and talks to spirits.
No,
And she's
I don't
legit.
do. I don't do the Ouija board. As soon as someone brings the Ouija board out, I'm going home. I'm going to the house.
Or the spirit box.
No, not no spirit boxes. I don't care what color the magic is.
But she checks out spooky buildings and different areas that are considered spooky haunting areas, things like that.
Abandoned buildings, but
Yeah,
I probably won't do much of that. I do like serial killery stuff. I'm more into
yeah,
that.
exactly. Check her channel out though if you haven't already. And I know I'll have a lot of replay crew people, so I love you guys in the replay crew. All right, let's see. There's like a minute left of this part, and then we'll get into the last part, which the last part isn't really about Gypsy. So what Nick Viall likes to do on his podcast is he has a caller call in with their issue, and he sits down with whoever he's interviewing, and they go over the question that the caller has and what advice that they would give for the caller and things like that.
Oh, this
So
caller gives
listen
out
to
too much information. I'm like, bro,
girl.
you know your husband knows your voice.
Okay, so I see what Foley sent me. So she sent me about the visitors. Does an inmate know who's going to visit? To visit someone in prison, you have been added to their visitors list by the inmate, and inmates are only allowed a certain number of people on their list, and you have to fill out a whole application and then be approved as a visitor before even allowed to
But
visit.
what if there was a workaround with him filling out an application? What if he went up there, told them he wanted to visit Gypsy, and fill out that application? There could be a loophole somewhere. Because why
There
would she
might
go,
be.
I need
Yeah,
him off of my visitors list?
that's a very interesting. Yes,
You
we'd have
just,
to look more into it. It's a good question. We'll put that question on the back burner. I'll look into it. Ooh, yeah. I love haunted places too. Me too.
no, I'm not going to anywhere that has spirits in it either. Nope. I'm going to leave them
I have
alone.
this haunted place by me that's also very historical. That springtime I'm going and I'm gonna record everything for you because I know you'll cover it very well. And it has a lot to do with the British and well our war with the British, the Tea Party war.
Boston Tea Party.
Yeah. I'm not like in Boston, but we're on the shore, so it was part of the whole Boston Tea Party and
My
territorial
baby is
victory.
literally playing next to my door, waiting for me to come out.
Tell her 10 more minutes, honey. 10 more minutes.
10
Because
more
I think
hours,
we might
baby.
just
10 more hours.
for
She's
mom's
like,
sake.
what?
What are you talking about, mom?
Mom, are you
For you guys,
crazy?
especially around like you guys wanted to have kids and what type of parents you want to be. But before we get to that, it's time for texting office hours.
Okay.
We have a caller calling in. We do this every episode with our guests. They are looking for different types of relationship advice. And as we always say, like we're not experts, but we have made a lot of our own mistakes. We try very hard to learn from our mistakes, and we try to offer wisdom through our mistakes.
Okay.
So if you guys are down to help this caller out,
Yeah.
we'll get
Bring it
to
on. Bring it
All right,
on.
let's
Fun.
bring them on.
And that's where they do a commercial. So let me get part 3 up. Doo, 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 doo. It's a very interesting caller. I will give them that. I wasn't expecting this kind of a caller.
And responsible gaming resources.
How's it going?
Hi, Nick. My name is Charlotte. I'm 35 and I'm scared I cannot keep up with my husband's sex drive.
Okay. All right. Well, give us a little more context behind what's going on.
Okay, so he is 37 years old, and within the last 2 months, it's been like a complete 180 in regards to his initiating sex, his wanting sex, basically his sex drive, right? Been wanting it every single day almost, and he's been wanting to go again after he finishes. And this is completely different than the way it used to be. We've been together for 8 years, married for 3. Okay. I was always kind of the initiator, you know. I was okay with that, right? At first I was a little nervous, you know, like, ooh, is this going to maintain like this? But it's worked out well for us. It's waxed and waned throughout the years. We have 3 kids, so obviously during pregnancy and postpartum, things slowed down. But we always get back to a place where I think both of us are comfortable. But within the last 2 months, it's been crazy.
Like a flip of a switch.
Much more. He wants it.
Have you addressed it with him, or have you just gone with the flow?
Well, you know, I've gone with the flow because, you know, like obviously I'm a beneficiary here. I, you know, can't complain.
Right.
But, you know, I've asked him, like, basically, like, babe, this is crazy. Like, this is so unlike you. What's going on? And he kind of just is like, I don't know. Maybe it's a change in testosterone. I'm not 100% sure if he even really knows what's going on.
But you feel good that he's not, I mean, because there are things that men can do to increase testosterone.
Right, I was about to ask that. I was thinking if he's taking any like supplements or anything, because that could increase the sex drive.
And some men could be self-conscious about acknowledging that. Are we confident that there's none of that going on?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that's not going on. Yeah.
Did you change your look up any? Like maybe he's fine. I mean, like I would find it flattering, right?
Right. No, yeah, right. I don't want to like not
mute for this. I don't really want to hear about his sex drive right now.
Yeah, that's too much. So I looked up Missouri Department of Corrections. This is the actual website for visitors.
Yeah.
You can actually look closely. You can actually fill out a visitor application online.
Interesting.
To apply to visit a family member or friend in a Missouri Department of Corrections facility, please complete our online visitor application. Paper applications are available upon request. To interview an offender as a journalist or filmmaker, please see our guidelines for media professionals. Visiting schedules. In most cases, family and friends of offenders in the Department of Corrections are able to visit during set hours on weekends. The number, length, and schedule of visits. So he could have filled out an application online to visit her.
Damn. So it's that easy.
And this is legit. Like, you see up there?
Bad language is welcome. Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So you can look at this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, visiting schedule, all of that. How to apply, application right there. Wow.
So that's probably how he got on her visitors list.
Yeah, don't worry. We say bad words here. I was saying murderer. Murderer. We're gonna get demonetized.
Let's see.
So he could have very much filled the application out, and then she get like notification, hey, some guy signed up to be on your visitors list. Do you approve?
Yeah, like it has restrictions, physical contact, like it tells you all the rules.
Very interesting.
What the world?
I was trying to get it when you were scrolling to make it bigger for you, but
like, yeah.
Well, that's good. Good to know.
And they have the visitor application.
Does the inmate have to approve it?
See?
She's saying, Chloe said, does the inmate have to approve it? I'm assuming not.
Yeah,
Now that
they have to approve it. in this
Okay.
website, once you fill out the application, then they have to run it by the offender or whomever. When it's media, how she
Yeah.
got to do all those interviews in prison, she has to approve them.
Okay.
So that's
So
how he
she
got on
probably
her
got something
visitors
saying,
list.
this guy signed up to be on your visitors list. You approve this guy? And she's like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, no.
Right.
Like,
So
that's very weird. Very interesting.
the more you know. I figured there was a loophole there, and I'm like, let me look this up while we're just listening, because I've already seen this interview. Let
Right?
me just look this up real
Yeah, and
quick for
honestly,
the state of
the
Missouri.
this like I said, this last part, it gets it's about somebody else. I mean, she gives good advice, don't get me wrong. I wish I could speed this up for us because it's like that's the one thing when you add it as a video file, you can't speed it up. If we were on his podcast channel, I could speed it up. I don't really, if you want to listen to this part, I'll give you the link. I believe it's already in the description for you guys if you want to go see the full episode. But if we just go to the end after the caller,
There's a lot
there's
of
not really much.
opportunity here for parenting. You want to have kids someday.
Mhm.
You've been through a lot, obviously, as a child.
Mhm.
Have you guys had conversations, or maybe you guys could just answer individually, what kind of parents do you want to be? And what is really important to you when you start having children, your approach to raising them?
So, I think my approach is going to be, I don't want to shelter them too much.
Mhm.
But just enough to where I'm
Helicopter
being a good mom and protective, but I don't want to over shelter them because that's what my mom did to me. And actually, my mom did to me something is completely different. But
Right.
but I want to take lessons from my stepmom. I like the way she parents. She's no sugar coating shit. She just puts it all on the line and lets us make mistakes because I have 3 other siblings. So, they're half siblings. So, anyway, she parents each kid,
They're still
the
siblings.
same. She loves us all the same.
They're blood.
She's more of a, listen, I'll let you do what you want, and if it falls apart, I'll be there to pick up the pieces after. That's the kind of parent that I want to be. I think Ryan is a big teddy bear, and he will cave into every request.
I don't know.
That's how I think Nick will be.
I think I don't want to spoil our kids. I want them to have things they want and need.
Mhm.
I don't want to over spoil a kid because when you over spoil a kid,
Yeah, we know.
it causes bad things to
Mhm.
have. Then they
Yeah.
become entitled. I don't want to do that. Gypsy thinks I'm going to spoil them rotten. Well, I mean, like if they deserve it, maybe.
You'll find that balance.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
find that balance. I think Gypsy's going to be a great parent. Obviously, I wouldn't have married her if I didn't think so. It's one of those where I think she's going to be a great parent. Just she's sweet and innocent and beautiful, and it's one of those where she's going to be great. She's going to be a great nurturer. So it's one of those. I just want to, I've helped my mother raise my nephew in a way. So one thing I told myself with our kids, I'm not going to ever lie to them. I'm going to tell them truth and tell them this is how it is, even on the hard question.
Yeah.
Even if they try to ask about their mother, like what has happened, I'll tell them the truth, but also give them context.
I
And,
mean, the grandmother. But
try
yeah.
to just steer them in the right
And her
direction.
mom
Hope
and
they make the right decisions. I'm not
Yeah.
going to try to make their decision.
Do you worry
Right.
about that, having to have that conversation with your
Of
children?
course, I'm dreading it. I know it's gonna have to happen someday.
But we're going to be open and honest.
Yeah,
Tell them
yeah.
the truth.
I mean, not right off the flip, as a young child.
I would want to at least tell the kids at an age they understand when you know that they can have the ability to then like search the story and all of that. You want to be the person to tell your child what happened to you without them having to go out and find it. And I think that's something she's going to have a very fine line on figuring out when is the best time to tell her child, hey, I've been through a traumatic situation in my life, and this is what happened to me. People know me because of this story, and it's not something a very young child will understand. So it's going to be a hard, and there's no right or wrong answer. Like, you can't be like, well, at 12 years old is the right time to tell a child, or at 15 is the right age. There's no right answer to that. I think she's
I'm
gonna learn. She's gonna
I'm
learn.
like real blunt with my kids, and they're 5 and 7. I'm like real blunt with them. Like if my
Yeah.
daughter walks up to me and it's like, So is this, and this a good idea? No. Are you crazy?
Yeah,
And they
yeah,
are
I
spoiled
agree.
rotten.
Well, I was spoiled rotten, and I'm okay.
I was too. I
I'm
don't ask
okay.
for much.
I
Just
don't either, and I appreciate everything that I get. I learned, it takes a lot of work to get those things, even if you're given it. So
yeah, that's somebody
I
else's
I
money.
take it to
But
heart.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a
I'm
gift.
very
It's
blunt with my
a gift.
kids. Like I'll tell them straight out that's a bad idea, or I'll tell them like how the world really is. You know, I
What
don't
now? Say you
sugarcoat
were in
anything for
Gypsy's
them.
shoes. If you were in Gypsy's shoes, and this is something that happened to you in your life, would you have already told your oldest child at this point
Yeah,
what happened?
mhm.
That's a good answer. I like it.
Because I'm blunt.
Like I said, there's no
Like
right or wrong answer.
I tell them myself. I'm bad
Yeah.
about that.
I would rather my child hear it from me than go and read it on the internet or someone in the school be like, "Your mom's a murderer." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're gonna
like
have to deal with that.
yeah, I tell my kids because like I'm very open door policy in my home. So anything they want to ask me, I tell certain things. Now, when it comes to the woman stuff, I just tell them I
Yeah.
got to go change my diaper until they get older. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But like stuff that's serious and that I need to sit down and talk with them, um, something as simple as bullying in school, showing kindness,
Yeah.
um, respect your
Hmm.
teachers. Um, I don't get on them about any bad grades in school. I'm just like, we need to figure out where you're struggling. But I would be
Yep.
blunt and honest with them because that's just how I am. I'm just very, very honest with people. So I'm bad. I'm bad
I
about that. I
definitely
have a
would
big mouth.
agree. I think I would be very blunt and upfront with my kids. That's how I was raised, and my parents never hid anything from me. Well, she hid one thing from me, but I learned at an older age what it was. But it was not something that a child should have known anyways, kind of a thing. So I think, you know, our examples of how we are raised are good examples, and we are going to learn as we grow, and there's no right or wrong answer to parenting. Like, not every person parents the same. So it also
I
depends
was
on the
raised
child, how much the child is aware and if they comprehend and understand as well.
I was raised with military parents that were very blunt, and their face would say it before they even say it. And then my
Yeah,
grandparents, my grandpa especially, he was a very blunt person. He was one of
oh
those who
yeah,
would bottle it up till he got tired of it and just like go off. And I'm like, whoa, 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 what is going on? What did you hear? And he's like, well, I heard this,
yeah.
this, and this. I'm like, no, let me tell you the story before you get angry. 'Cause he had a big voice, so you're like, whoa, what are you mad about? And so you
Yep,
had to like have a conversation with him, and he's a good person to talk to, but he's gonna tell you exactly what it is. And that's how I raise my kids. I'm gonna tell them exactly what it
yep,
is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna tell them,
yep.
um, oh yeah, like the fairy flew across the yard. There's no fairy, like.
Yeah,
But I'll believe them if they see the fairy fly across the yard,
yeah. That's
and just
their
go with their
imagination,
imagination.
and
Yeah, but I'm gonna be like, okay, you're crazy. You're seeing stuff now. All right, gotcha. And we
he
literally,
said, "What a great imagination you have, darling."
yeah, I'd take her to the
I,
doctor
I I have kids
immediately.
that say like there's a fairy that talks to them, and I'll be like, "That's a wonderful. I wish I had the imagination you guys had because when you get older, it gets
They turn into
sad."
bills.
Like, I wish my imagination was that vivid that I saw fairies and I was able to talk to them and have play dates with fairies. God help
Now
me.
they believe in the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus and
Yeah.
all that good stuff. But that's about the only thing I'll tell a little fib because it's the magic. It's the magic of it. It's not
Is he
about.
shooting his gun outside?
That's my father-in-law out there shooting a gun, and I'm gonna cuss him out. I cuss him out every time he does that mess.
Hey, Maybe there's a wild rabid animal that needs
No,
to
he
take
just
over him.
shoots off just to shoot off. I don't know.
Yeah, my dad's the same way though. He's like my brother and my dad have they have a pond where they are, so they have like a motorboat that they set up as a moving target and they take shots at it in the pond. It's pretty interesting.
Listen, I ain't got
I've
time for
had
all of
fun.
that.
Hey, why not? It's like I hate to say it was like my dad's dream. Like, 'cause in the state that I live in now, like I lived in a city. You can't just shoot a gun off in the city. Like you can't do that kind of shit.
Because
Whereas
everybody's gonna
we have a
duck.
castle act. Like, we have laws, unfortunately. Exactly. Like the neighbor's too close that you cannot shoot a gun literally because the neighbor is that close. So to be
Well,
able
there's
to,
houses around us, so whenever he shoots off, I'm like, where are you shooting towards? Because there's a little old man that lives across the woods that could go through those trees and hurt somebody. Like, what are you doing?
he knows what he's doing. Hopefully,
Oh, he don't.
I
He's
give him
just
credit.
crazy. I don't. Throw him out the window.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I mean, this is the pretty much the podcast. Like I said, they talk a little bit more about her goals, which she's already answered, what she plans to do with her platform, which is give her a voice to the kids that don't have a voice that are going through the situations that she's gone through and, have a platform where she can talk about mental health issues and what she's been through. And I hope that she succeeds in everything she does. It's going to be a big learning journey for Gypsy. And
She's got to learn
I'm
not
gonna
to
go
tell
on.
people the D is fire because I don't want to picture that in my head.
Yes, I did have. Let me add the TikTok. I added this one, which was it's only 39 seconds. What people had to say about Gypsy for the Nick Viall podcast. It's pretty interesting.
Going up. Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
I'm just happy that she's out of prison and that she's finally free.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard was released this morning.
Waiting for the day, had a countdown going.
It's fascinating and it's terrifying.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
She's been in prison.
Oh my god, I have so many questions for Gypsy.
When did you first fall in love? What are your plans for the future? Why she did what she did?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard, all smile.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard celebrating her release from prison.
Gypsy and Ryan, welcome to the Viall Files.
I'll give it to Nick. It was a good little video. I was intrigued by his little opening video.
I was wondering what he was going to ask her. That's what
Do
intrigued
you know
me.
that Mama June, Honey Boo Boo's mother, sent Gypsy a message on TikTok? Did you see that one? It's
That was a
downloading
fake
right
account.
now.
That was a fake account.
No. This was Mama June for sure. She made a whole video.
She messaged a fake account.
Oh, she messaged a fake account. Oh, probably. She probably didn't tag it right. God fucking. But what she had to say, I was just like, girl, like, people wonder about your mothering to your daughter, what you've done to, Honey Boo Boo and Pumpkin, and we're not gonna go there with your personal message to Gypsy. I do have that. That one's downloading right now. This is the first time she was in New York City. That's almost done. And then I have one where she does the newlywed game with Ryan, which is pretty interesting.
You're muted.
Deep thoughts when I'm muted. The next one is the newlywed tag game where that's interesting. It's almost done downloading.
It's
The
cute.
Mama June one
It's
is
so
really,
cute.
yeah. We're gonna watch that. Give it just one more second. You know, I should have put these on StreamYard before. I put everything else on StreamYard before, but forgot these videos. The Mama June one though, that has me. We're gonna watch that one. It had me cracking up. Like, who are you to give her advice? Like, you're some celebrity, Mama June. Okay.
Hi, it's Gypsy and Ryan. Let's play a newlywed game.
Sounds good, but we're not really newlyweds. Let's call it the newly together game.
Okay, I like that.
Awesome.
I like that.
What is this nickname for?
Cuddle Muffin.
Got a muffin.
That is my nickname.
What is Brian's nickname?
Snuggles and Cuddle Muffin.
Did we get it right? No!
I thought she'd be Cinderella.
How does it
If your man doesn't know how to take his
I said don't drink coffee. Doesn't
I
drink
said
coffee.
no coffee, Dr. Pepper.
Right.
Oh, I love the smell of it.
I love coffee.
He's at PepsiCo. He's got that Roadhog in him.
Okay, I actually don't know how to spell his name, so we're just gonna put that. Okay.
This is my mother, Aquaman.
Aquaman.
I catch you.
Hey, Cat, we love you.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
You remember me telling you?
I do actually. So I
Very
just don't know how to spell her name. Did I get it right?
Yeah. You gotta realize we talked on the phone a lot.
I'm like butchering these people's names too.
Back in those high school days where you talked on the phone, that's all you had.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Mm.
You love this song. Let me see. You belong with me. Oh, well, Gypsy is crazy beautiful, so
I love it. I do love the films too.
she thinks I sound like him.
Hey, if he could sing, I think that he would sound like Luke Combs just by the voice. Ooh.
Ooh, what would my go-to
What would
karaoke
be
song?
your karaoke? Okay, so this is actually a song that you didn't sing, but you gave this to me as like a message song. So it's like a song for me to listen to.
Really?
Like when we first started dating, you gave this song to me. And then I went back and listened to it. So. What'd you put? What?
What song did you do?
Can you
See, Bobby Brown, New Edition, same thing.
Wow.
That was fun. Learn more about how our love story began in the 3-night event of the Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Only on Lifetime.
That's my girl.
Because there's nothing on. No TV, nothing. I'm not being loud. Anyways, I'm being loud. So, this is Mama June. You want to hear someone that's loud?
Hey y'all, what's up? Y'all know who this is. Your girl, Mama June. I know I've been MIA. I've been extremely sick this week, but I've been wanting to make this video for a couple weeks, even long before Gypsy Rose even got out. Hey girl, hey, and my name is Mama June. If you don't know who I am, I'm also known as Honey Boo Boo's mom. Me, my daughter Alana, which is Honey Boo Boo, Pumpkin, and Jessica have been following your story since the very beginning, okay? I have seen the act. I know that tonight, January 5th, 6th, and 7th, Lifetime is doing your confessions and everything behind bars, and what you have went through, which I think is amazing. Y'all go get her book deal, which is linked in her bio. Pumpkin already bought it and pre-ordered it. But anyway, the reason that's not why I'm making this message. I'm not doing this for clout.
Damn,
I'm
I
not
can't
doing this
pause it.
only solely because I feel like somebody that has been there and has got knocked down by society that is in
Close
this
your mouth.
business.
Well, because I added it as like a regular video instead of
I
presenting
want to get
it.
her book. I want to read it.
She tagged the wrong account. So you're like, go get our book. It's in our bio. It's like you tagged the wrong account.
Imagine you tagging the wrong
Like,
account.
there is Gypsy did put out a TikTok saying there is a lot of like dupe accounts, people making of her asking for money. And those are the people that is just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you're really that fucking pathetic. I can't stand people like that. Yeah, Honey Boo Boo
Like,
Child, right?
at least give her half the proceeds.
Shit. Right.
Sure.
I see, but there are people that like suggest that like I've heard stories about Honey Boo Boo's mom being just like Gypsy's mom in situations with Alana, aka Honey Boo Boo. And though there are some comparisons, it's not the same situation. She is a crazy stage mom. I don't think she has Munchausen's and all of that, but she has her own issues and her own things that she had to work out with her own daughter. So no one's perfect. She's definitely not perfect, I'll tell you that. Fame got
I'm
to
not
Honey Boo
perfect.
Boo's mom.
It gets
Yeah.
loud up in here real quick.
Oh. Yeah,
What in
same
the
here.
world?
It's only 100 pages long. Oh, geez. I didn't know that. That's an easy read.
I'll be in my little bed with my little
She
lamp
probably,
on.
I wouldn't doubt it. She's like, this is a quick book. Let me just pretend to be Gypsy Rose. Please. But anyways, so that is the Nick Viall podcast. If you want to see the entire thing, like I said, it's linked down below. We are going to be definitely watching Gypsy's journey. Megz is going to be talking about her on her channel. Her channel is linked down below, also at the top right there. No, this way, that way. So
Yes.
that's her
That
tag.
way.
That's her tag. That way. So check her out, subscribe, and I will definitely be over there in the comments and leaving my opinion about everything going on with Gypsy for sure. Yeah, she has some great videos. Bonnie and Clyde. Oh my God, you have so many good videos. And you're gonna be
I
working your
try.
butt off. You're gonna be working your butt
Yeah,
off this
I
year.
have Natalia Grace that I'm working on too. But it's a lot
Yep.
as well.
Yeah.
Just gotta get down to the nitty gritty. Ed Gein, he's worked on.
Yep.
Everything's ready for that one. I'm just lazy. That's all. But Gypsy Rose, it might take a little while, because hers is a lot to take down. So it'll
Yeah.
probably be a 2-part series.
You have to break it in parts. I would do maybe even 3 parts, like her childhood, her jail time, and then that'll give you some time to do like how she is equipping and like falling into
Yeah,
place
'cause
into society now.
I gotta keep up with all the interviews. If she does any more, I'm looking at
Yep.
her TikTok. I follow her on Instagram. I'm not weird. It's for research purposes, people. I haven't messaged her. I promise. It's weird to do that, but like just to kind of follow her journey and see how she's doing. I always
I follow you.
when people have stuff going on like that, I always want the best for them, even though she made a mistake in life.
I agree.
I always want the best for everyone, regardless.
I agree.
So
It's how they
hopefully,
want to move forward with their life and if they want to better it for themselves. She clearly shows she wants a better life than what she had. And
yeah, she's
that to
living
me
it.
shows growth. Yep. Oh, she is, that's for sure. She's
So
definitely living it.
I hope she keeps up with advocating, though. and helping these kids that don't have a voice, or teenagers even, helping them have a voice.
Let me
What?
close the poll down. I did put a poll up, so
All right, I voted on it.
forward.
We got 39 votes.
Ooh, I'm pulling it up on my end, if it lets me. If not, I have the other. Oh, forgot my. Oh, it's not dead. I was like, my laptop isn't plugged in. No, has nothing.
Majority rules. She served her time.
She served her time. That's what it looks like on my end too. Yes, 56%. She has served her time, and I agree.
You
So
leave
I
me and
think
my
we
ball
all
alone.
agree
I love
there, and
that.
it should come up right now in the chat as.
Leave my ball alone. I love my ball. Leave my ball alone.
I thought it was a good poll question.
Huh?
Her ball. Everyone had. You know what? I was one of the few that didn't get one of those Christmas balls, and I was a
You had to go
member.
in her community tab and tell her to make you one.
I got a free. I
That's what
got
I
a
did.
free membership. No, I know. I was a little lazy. I didn't really care that much. Like I cared because everyone had one, and I thought I was like the only one left out. But it was like whatever. It was whatever. I didn't go any further. I could have asked Jules. I didn't. It's my
I
fault.
like my ball. Y'all leave me alone about my ball. I'll probably change it here
Hey,
shortly. I already changed mine on Twitter.
Yeah, I actually. So this is being streamed on Odyssey right now, and I have to still change over my Twitch to my new logo. So my old logo is still on Twitch and Odyssey right now, but might as well stream to the platform since I have a platform. That's just how I'm doing it. So, but now we have memberships here on this channel, and I will be doing some member only streams where we can, talk more personally. And if people want to join and pay to be a member, then they can come listen if they want. I don't really give a fuck what the haters think and say. I don't listen to them anyways. So,
I want to go watch them.
you want to come hang out with me? We'll have some fun. But so Roddy did ask when the next game night is.
I think I missed the last one because I was working. I don't know.
Yeah, so I want to start doing them weekly like I used to, and the weekends are like the best time to do them since people I don't work and then people don't work on the weekends, things like that. So I'm thinking maybe next Saturday we'll do our first game night. We'll see how that goes. I'll put a poll up, see what day works better, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we'll go from there. But definitely want to do a game night because I love game nights. And I actually found a whole bunch more other games that we could play.
And I get to cuss again because I lose.
And we get to make funny acronyms towards people and have fun with it. And it's a blast. That's how I see it. Well, welcome, Coley. Yay. There we go. And I will be
her
giving
name's
out
Chloe.
I said Chloe.
Her name's Chloe, not Coley anymore. It's
It
Chloe
is.
now.
Oh my gosh. That was one thing I used to always get Tara's name wrong, and she hated that. Well, sorry, bitch. You can get my
Don't
name wrong. I
start.
don't mind.
Don't start. We ain't talking about that. We ain't talking about that.
Yeah, no, we
Put
don't
it on
need to.
mute. I will
Yep.
mute your mic. I will find a way to mute that.
I wonder, Pope. I was gonna say if Pope was here, he would mute me, but he's not here. But yeah,
I
no,
will
we'll have
mute
game
your
night.
mic.
We'll do next
That is not
Saturday
to
for
be
game night.
mentioned over here. Ever.
No, code names only. Code names only. When it's game night, code names only. So we can have some fun. Why not? Have you been here for game night? You know how it goes, girl. It gets down and
Yeah.
dirty. Those should be members only. You know what we should do? We should do a members only game night for just the members where we can get crazy. That'll be fun.
No.
Yeah, we'll
ground you.
We'll all be grounded. I'd be in
I will
trouble. I'd
personally
be
message you.
grounded. Roadhog was gonna come spank my ass. You know, we'll have all of it.
Well, I'm in the
So,
bushes and you're under the bed, so there's that.
yeah, that's
Don't
true.
leave me out in the
At least
cold.
I get under the bed,
I'm
right?
still waiting on that
You're out in the
steak.
cold and the snow and the wind. That steak meal. There you go. I'm still waiting
It
on a
just sound
meal.
good though.
I've
It
been
sounded
in
really
bed
good.
for 7, 8 months now. Oh my God. The shit that comes out people's mouths, I tell you. Yeah, so I can take out, ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to
What are
take
you
off my
cooking?
overlay. So I had the overlay, see where it says spooky with history with Megz right underneath, and now it's gone.
Mhm.
That was for the Nick Viall video, so I was transforming it by putting my artwork on top, just in case we have any reason for them to want to copyright it. I did fair use, so. When are we not crazy? That's a good question. When are we not crazy?
I ain't crazy.
It,
I just
Robbie,
want to sleep.
exactly. Her name is not spelled the way it is pronounced. That is not my fucking fault. Sorry, you're not
Be
that
quiet.
cool.
Be quiet or you'll summon the demons. Stop.
That's true. We don't need that. No demons allowed. But I had fun, guys, and we will definitely be doing this again. Me and Megs will definitely figure out our next little thing that we're going to do together. There's lots to talk about. Lots of things happening. Vanderpump is coming back on the 30th, so I'll be talking a lot of Vanderpump over here. If you like court stuff, uh, Ken and Lisa Vanderpump, who are the main people for the Vanderpump show, they just got slapped with a lawsuit on Friday. And they're getting sued for one of their restaurants that is always featured in their show. So that's going to be another thing that I'm covering along with Ariana and Tom's lawsuit and how he doesn't want to sell the house, but they're not together anymore and they got to sell the house. So I'll be covering that as well. Just things that I find interesting that I know other people find interesting. I'm going to do what I like. So if you like it, I'm here for it. And then we'll do things like this where we all enjoy it. That's what matters. So I don't care about
That's,
the drama these people have.
don't worry about it. It just bring your channel down. It's no point. It's no point.
It's a cycle. It's just a complete cycle of the same shit, different day. Like I was talking about it the other day with your mom actually, and I was like, it's a cycle. Like what we went through. Now the 90-day community is dealing with some of the same things that we've gone through, and it's like it literally cycles through communities, all the same things, and people doing the
Yeah,
same things, getting kids involved, putting out doxing information. Just it's so stupid and it's annoying. It's not getting anyone anywhere. And I hate to say it, states are passing laws where if you are putting doxing information out, I can tell you 3 states as of right now, and I know how Gets covered it on her channel, that
mhm.
have laws about doxing. And like if you dox someone with malice intent, you put out their personal, even their kids, their work information, any of that out there on the internet, you can get slapped with a doxing whole lawsuit. Whether it's civil or criminal, it depends on the state. So. And that's like one thing I agree that there needs to be more of because people use it as a weapon to hurt other
Right.
people. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't.
Even big
So,
creators are using it to hurt people. So it's like
yeah.
they need to get a crackdown on it because a lot of law enforcement didn't have that pull before, and now they're making it a law. Maybe law enforcement can actually step in and do what they need to do, whether it's
Yeah.
in another state or not.
Hmm.
So hopefully
Yeah.
they crack down on it and it slims down a little bit once they realize they got to pay
100%.
money.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. It's Illinois, Florida, and Texas so far are the 3 states that I know of. I know that
Alrighty,
there are
Mom,
other
we're not going
states
to
in the
mention that
works.
thing either. Not
Yep.
here.
So. But like one of my friends is in Texas and she's dealing with that issue where they put out her work information, they put out her daughter's FOIA request. They FOIA requested her daughter's police calls that is a minor and put it out there on the internet. People, are we really resorting to that shit? And it clearly states that this teenager has mental health issues, and they are sitting there bashing this teenager for what she's going through. Let me tell you, when I was a teenager and I had mental health issues, do you think my parents could stop me from calling the cops if I thought something was wrong? No. Doesn't mean that they're bad parents. It was something I was going through. Doesn't mean they weren't doing everything in their power to help me either. Like, the stuff that these people are saying, I just can't. I can't be involved with it. I love a lot of people. Is it right what some people are doing? Hell to the fucking no. If I have the chance to tell them, I will tell them to their face what I think what they're doing is fucked up and wrong. That is
Right.
how I am. Just like I hope someone would tell me if I did something wrong, they would tell me to my face, which I've had that happen. And you know what? I was wrong for what I did. And the
Me,
approach and
me,
everything about it.
I
Yep. You were right on, and I know. I should have listened to a lot more people. So I learned. There's
just
no
gotta
handbook.
roll with it.
There's no rule book.
Can't take it back.
Yeah, nope, you can't. And we know now apologies aren't enough with people. You can apologize till you're
Exactly.
blue in the face. It doesn't mean shit to them. So what are you gonna do?
Scream in the
Sunshine
void.
warned you. Oh yes, yeah. I know what you mean, Roddy. That's fucked up too.
I
Yes.
think
Oh, no
Hubs is ready
problem.
to aggravate me for the night.
Yes, you have to go take care of your babies. I enjoyed our little love date over here together.
Too bad there
We need
wasn't
to
any
do this again.
kissing.
I know,
Roadhog came
right?
in the
Your
chat. I
promise
guess he was
Roadhog to
expecting
make that
kissing.
session. He did. He was waiting for some action. Damn, sorry, Roadhog. Maybe next time.
Sorry.
You know. I love you, honey, and I hope you all have a wonderful night, and we'll see you guys again soon.
I love you too,
You have
lady.
anything to say, darling? Oh, I love you too. Bye, everyone.